freak out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcast, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on also 104.1 FM. This is a special edition of Sunday. I'm recording this edition right now, this first hour exactly. It's Friday the 8th of September 2017. I already had a show planned for this hour, but you know what's going on right now in general on the East Coast, especially in the part of the Florida side, and of course not just Florida. It's happening almost everywhere. Something's going on. But right now, I'd like to focus on what's happening in Florida, because I believe what we are facing right now as country, as Americans, and also as humanity, because it's happening also somewhere else, it's something that is part of a bigger plan. And I'll show you why I think so. And if you think I'm crazy, that's fine. But meanwhile, all I want to do is try to give some warnings and trying to alert people as the best way I can using this media. Now, I have a lady who I've been knowing for many years, since the time when I was still living in California, and I used to go to meetings in Nevada and Las Vegas. She was an activist, a political activist, and then we became also Facebook friends. And she moved back to, I think, her family. She has family down there in Florida. She's right now with me exactly on the air, the next few seconds, and we will talk a little bit what's going on down in Florida. Probably when you listen to the show, you already know what's happened or what really did happen. I'm telling you now, in my opinion, not only what's going to happen, because, I'm not a psychic, but I can read the news and I can see the reports, I can see the weather reports, I can see the projections. But honestly, why it's happening and what could be the final goal, and also what we could do to learn from this. Because if we don't learn anything, probably, it's a waste. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of life, a waste of money. We need to learn from this and how to avoid situations like this can happen. Anyway, let me bring Laura Z from Tampa area, Florida. Laura, are you there?
I am. Good afternoon.
I'm sorry to bring you in on the show for the first time for this type of, event. I wish we could have talked about something better, maybe about food or guns or maybe a serenade, but that's the way it goes. Okay. By the way, I talked one time with your sister. You have a sister, right? At least she told me that she was your sister. Good. We had talked about
Jennifer.
Yes, Jennifer. We had a gun talk and that was great. Unfortunately, this event today we'll talk in is a little different. As I said before, the show is recorded. Today is exactly Friday, just few hours before you in Florida going to start to face the consequences of Irma. Exactly, remind me, which part of Florida are you right now?
We are in Westbury Chapel, which is east of Tampa.
And, according to the government and your governor, I know that they have different, projections. For example, Miami, I know it's going to be hit directly. What is the situation? What are the projections for Tampa area where you live?
Well, they don't have a specific, because it changes every minute, every hour.
Yeah.
But it's going to go through the whole state because our governor's done an awesome job as far as getting out information. But the hurricane's bigger than Florida. Yeah. So both the West Coast and the East Coast will be affected in some manner. It just depends on once it hits the South Florida, which we just moved from Fort Lauderdale to this area 2 months ago.
Wow.
Providential.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yes, there's going to be something. Gas stations are closing down. Orlando Airport closes tomorrow at 5:00. Disney down. Many places are closed. Many places are out of gas. water, batteries.
We called, you were texting me before and you left me a message. You were on the way back home. By the way, on the way back home, what did you see? What can you see on the streets, on the highway? You see long lines, or there is like, for example,
yes.
What's going on?
Long lines. Well, I was looking for a gas can.
Yeah.
We do have a generator, but there are no gas in the little area I live. There is nothing, no batteries, no water, no gas. Many places are closed, so I went to an adjacent town. Was able to get one, but people are scared. You can just feel the energy of people very nervous, driving around. People are getting in arguments. They have police monitoring gas stations as far as when a new drop comes off for the gasoline, if they get in anymore. The police are at stores monitoring water. There's a limit, depending on what store, 2 cases, 5 cases. But most of the stores I've seen are fair. They have not tried to gouge. There are a lot of places here gouging, though, for price, such as a case of water, $25, that type of thing. But generally where I am, it's not to that level at this point, but there'll be people that pray. For sure. Prey on others.
Yeah, it's very sad also because now in this moment of extreme stress and fear, sometimes the best of us comes out, sometimes the worst of us comes out. And you can start to see, people, the true nature of every one of us. I'm not saying that we are all human beings, we have moments of weaknesses, but at the end of the day, we have the true nature. And moment like this, when there is no more law and order, there are no more really, what is the law? The law is what your good soul tells you to do. If you are a good person, you would help somebody. You're not going to steal or harm somebody to take what is not yours. Unfortunately, in this moment, you see the true nature of people will come out. And that's very sad too, because it's going to be very stressful. Any special experience so far? Anybody got on your face, or anybody you see other people getting, like in fights or try to steal from each other?
Yeah, right. There have been a couple. I didn't witness it myself, but I do know that people are arguing. People are terrified, and this area is a rapidly growing area. So many people have just moved here recently, such as myself. But I've lived in the South and the area before. But they're terrified. They don't know what to do. So sometimes fear brings out, they're just reacting and not really realizing. But I've also seen a lot of good sides. I have wonderful neighbors here. We're looking out for each other, staying in touch, that type of thing. And Laura, so you see everything. Definitely.
Something personal. You don't have to answer, of course. Do you have family members close to you, or they are far away?
Oh, no. My whole family's here.
Oh,
and my
great.
mother-in-law, not my mother-in-law, but we have Italianos here, my family. And she's a little freaked out, but everybody, the main thing is to get your possessions, your papers, your documents, and make sure you have these types of things. And I had a friend of mine coming from South Florida, and she's like, well, I don't know what clothes to bring. And I was like, I don't think it matters. Just bring your documents, get what's important. You can't figure out what coach purse to bring. This is not the time.
It's not about clothes anymore. At least, I'll tell you something something personal. I have a brother right now with a daughter and also a wife. Unfortunately, I don't want to go into details because I'm a little mad at him. But he did not live. He took this, some different circumstances. I don't want to go into details, but he could not live. And right now he's stuck there, exactly in the middle of the heat. And as I said, at this point, there is so much you can do, so much you cannot do. And you need to just pray that somehow there is a miracle, and you try to be as smart as you can. But there is a force of nature here that is beyond our, limited. We are human beings. Unless you're being prepared, like, the government may have for themselves these bunkers underground, you cannot really do much. But there are some things we can do. And that's why I wanted to put this show together with you today, because, first of all, yes, acts of God, people believe in God, in the gods, whatever you want to believe, they are possible. We are living on planet Earth, and this is part of our reality. There are things that we may not control. But also at the same time, I want to say, I would like to learn exactly Because, I have the final hour, I have a guest. He's a 25-year-old veteran in the Canadian Army, and the guy is almost 50. And he's been learning a lot and sharing a lot of information about technology, patents, and technology that is being documented on official records, how the military, not only they can pretty much control the weather, but they can use the weather as a weapon. That's a fact. And I'm not trying to say this because, we had to do conspiracies or we need to do drama. We already have enough drama. But the point is, if we do not understand the potential why scenario, why it's happening, we just focus, at the pointing at the finger of the problem. We need to see who could be behind the problem. I'm not saying the military did it, but let's put it in this way. If we know for sure, and this is a fact, people can go to the Air Force website, We On The Weather. We On The Weather, and there's also a document, a PDF file that you can download directly from the website, is .mil, military. And the military claims that they can on the weather and use it as a weapon. Now, I didn't say they did it, but my point is, if you on the weather, you have this technology at least for the last 30, 40 years. Why they cannot somehow, let's say, mitigate or change the direction or even stop such situation? And they've been out there, scientists and different research, that they say, with few $1 million, this could have been stopped. There is the technology out there. So there is something that I believe is more than what now we've been told. For example, Houston, that is huge disaster. But it is really man-made, or it is something was planned, or at least was used. Now at the same time, we have something not all the scientists ever seen before. We have Irma coming towards you guys. And then there is another one, Jose, I forgot the name, another one just behind.
Jose, and then Katya, or somebody with a K. Yes.
I mean, there is so much that it is not just more a coincidence. And as I said, I need to start to say, okay, there is a point we cannot do everything because, they can manipulate us through these events. But at least we should investigate the truth. We cannot just say, believe, oh my God, this is the end of the world because God now is decided that we're going to die. Maybe God is mad, whatever. That's another story. But before we go there, I believe there is something science has to do with this. Now, there is this document.
I agree.
Yeah, On in the Weather in 2025, USF Center for Strategy and Technology. This is, by the way, was a document from 1996. And there is much more. Just Google these words, We On The Weather 2025, and people can see exactly what's going on. Now, let's talk about also what we can face the next few days, because, first of all, if I can ask you, is your house made of metal, made of bricks? What is made of, if I can ask you? What type of house do you live in?
Well, my brother's home is bricks.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know what our house is made of. We just moved here 2 months ago, so I believe it is cement.
Yeah, cement.
With then plywood.
It's a good start.
Right.
It's a good start. I'm sure you have a good different code when you build homes there, because the hurricanes, they are put in consideration.
Exactly.
It's not like
exactly. And the storm drains, though, that's the thing with the surge. Yeah. And after Andrew, many people in this area have been through many of the, I would say, maybe natural hurricanes.
Yeah.
But this seems I had many friends in Houston I worked with. I'm originally from Alabama, that lost everything. And it seems like it reminds me of herding sheep.
Yeah.
Herding cattle.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you're saying, but our home is pretty stable. We don't have a lot of windows.
Yeah.
Neighbors here that have been here 15 years and say this.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be fine. We don't get flooding here. But then again, this is so different than anything anybody's seen.
Yeah. Let me play 1 second. This I want to play. I have a little short video. I'm not going to play it at all because it's too long. But this is from History Channel, by the way, and it's something that we should have an open mind, because it's not even such things to be say, oh my God, it's so far out. It is so old now. The bottom line is that technology or weather manipulation is real. Okay. And we need to take knowledge of that. As I said, it can be used for good purposes or could be used for, let's say, nefarious purposes. And, I want to remind right now what's happening with this country. We have a president, as much maybe not perfect, is really being used as, let's say, this escaping goat for everything is bad, okay? That's the bottom line. They want to use them for everything could be bad. But more important, as much, I'm not a partisan guy. I'm not even a Republican, but I want to be honest. This man, with even all his imperfections, is slowing down the plan of globalism. Exactly, is something that they didn't see it coming, and they hate him from both parties. The Republican establishment and, of course, the Democrats, the globalists, they all hate him. So they need to put him out. And I really believe now, in my opinion, according to what I see here, as I said, this is not just about Irma anymore or Florida. This is about we need to look from the sky at the bigger picture, what's happening. They want to create the big scenario that they need to show him who is boss, even if he thinks he's the president. The real deep state controls technology that they can put this country on its knees economically and socially and, more important, politically. And at this point, even, it's going to be like a civil war. Seriously, we never had an idea.
It will be a civil war.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me play this. I want to play this because this is something, as I said, people need to understand, first of all, the technology we have. And I said, please don't go away, listeners. The final hour, I have this gentleman from Canada, is a retired, Army veteran from Canadian Army. And he has a lot of proofs and evidence with patents how this technology is real. Meanwhile, let me play this. This is from Weather Manipulation is Very Real by History Channel.
They are located in Gakona, Alaska. The project is called HARP.
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, originally a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy in cooperation with a number of academic institutions.
It is today the world's largest radio broadcasting station, but it's not designed to broadcast for human ears. It uses unique patented ability to focus the energy coming out of the antenna field and injects that energy into a spot at the very top of the atmosphere in a region called the ionosphere.
HARP is comprised of 180 antennas, approximately 72 feet tall, linked together to function as one giant steerable antenna. Steerable because it can aim millions of watts of ELF waves into one tiny patch of the atmosphere.
The amount of energy we're talking about here is 3.6 million watts. To give you an idea of what that is, the largest legal AM radio station in North America is 50,000 watts. HARP is 72,000 50,000 watt radio stations injecting their entire output into a spot that's about 12 miles across by about 2.5 miles deep by about 90 miles up.
This is where HARP is pointing. It's an area located roughly 300 miles from Anchorage. The U.S. military says HARP is merely being used to study the physical and electrical properties and behavior of the ionosphere for both civilian and defense purposes. But another theory is surfaced. The intense energy being beamed into the sky by HARP is actually heating up the atmosphere, causing weather changes.
HARP is being used for weather modification. The military's own record proves it. They've admitted it within their own documents, and yet they still deny it to the public.
Dr. Brooks Agnew has researched ELF wave technology for the past 30 years and is convinced HARP's effect on the ionosphere does alter the weather.
HARP couldn't affect the jet stream directly, but indirectly it could, because if you push the ionosphere out into space, then the stratosphere just under the ionosphere has to move to fill in that gap. When it moves, it could pull the jet stream with it, thus rerouting it hundreds of miles, changing the way water moves through our atmosphere.
HARP is one of several ELF wave transmitters located all over the globe. The United States owns and operates 3 of them, one in Gakona, Alaska, another in Fairbanks, Alaska, and one in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Russia has one in Vasilursky near Nizhny Novgorod, and the European Union has one near Tromsø in Norway. Working in tandem, these transmitters could potentially alter the weather anywhere in the world, changing the jet stream's course entirely, triggering massive rainstorms or droughts. Even hurricane steering would be possible by heating up the atmosphere and building up high-pressure domes that could deflect or change the course of hurricanes. The U.S. government...
Okay, I stop here. What do you think about this? You were able to listen to this information?
I was, and I completely agree with it. I completely agree with it because I do. I mean, too many coincidences are not. I don't think they are coincidence.
No.
It's being controlled, and that now the little minions are not acting the way they want them to, or Trump or whoever.
And that's true.
We'll shut them.
With the people, we are waking up. There is an awakening right now. People say, screw the parties. We start to understand they're both working against us. And lately, listen, many Republicans, I think they woke up finally when they saw finally that when you have the whole Congress now that Republican controlled and Senate, and then you have the president ready to do whatever he can to at least, erase some of the Obama abominations. And Congress, the Republican Congress, still go along with the Democrats, and there is no difference. So people are waking up. There is some sort of a sense of awakening, and I really believe now the only thing that can control us with is going to be fear and economic burden. When people lose their home, lose their jobs, and they're begging for food, you're going to have them in your pocket. That's the point. I'm going to go on record today. I'm going to go on record. This is the only, I'm the responsible for this, nobody else, not the station, no, of course, not you. This is, of course, before this it's happened. It's few hours before Irma hitting Florida, September the 8th, 2017, Friday. I really believe that this this hurricane and all these different type of weather disasters, they are not just accidents, but they're being man-made. I stay firm behind this. According to the evidence I've been studying, let's put it this way, at least they could have been avoided. They could have been mitigated. There is no excuse to let them go so wild. And also historically, this is something never happened. What's happening right now in Florida, I don't even think it's in the history books, okay? At that level, at this level. And I really believe now, we don't forget, 9/11 is coming in a couple of days. You don't need.
Oh, good point.
Exactly. So it's all together. There are a lot of signs we need to look at. They need an excuse. Problem, reaction, solution. They need another big crisis to bring us on our knees and find out another way to complete control America. And eventually, don't forget, right now, for example, we need to look also at Houston. It's something that it just started it. Even let's say the flood is over, the real emergency is starting now. They already pushing, for example, for Mexican troops to come there and help. This has been a part of brainwashing of, let me put it this way. When it comes to help, I want to be helped by anybody, but there is a point. When you come to help and you come with your uniform and the flag running the colors of your country as a military operation, it is no more just a humanitarian help. When you bring the uniform, you run their colors, that flag, that's a military operation. And now they're going to start to make us used to the idea that we already have this North American Union that, President Bush and President Fox signed by stealth. So we're going to start to have this implementation of security that under martial law, we may have Canadian troops and Mexican troops here and start to knock the people's doors down. That's what it's about. Now, start to give us the idea. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. It's martial law and many places, pulling the guns away from people. I can't quite cite what island, but or state, but this is just not good. No. It's the bottom line, but I definitely believe it's for control. 1984. George Orwell, whoever, whatever you want to say. But it's the economic thing, though. The people out here spending just thousands of dollars putting their home together, getting water, doing this, doing that, running around like it reminds me of an anthill that was stepped on and everybody's losing their mind, just going berserk. And it's a great way to control. And then here we come to help. And but it's definitely martial law. You have a curfew. You have this. I had dear friends in Houston lost everything. There were several of them. And
let me play this.
It's not right. It's not true. And I totally agree with you. I completely agree.
Let me play this because I just found this video a few minutes ago and I posted it on Facebook. Probably, I don't know if you had a chance. Let me play right now. 1 second. This is disturbing.
Going to wake up. People are seeing these death camps go up across the country. What you're looking at here isn't about Republican versus Democrat. It isn't about black versus white. It's about mass murder. And everybody out there is going to be a future victim. The ruling elite have made the situation perfectly clear. You are going to be eliminated. One way or another, they are coming for you. Today, it's a silent war. They're poisoning the food, the air, the water. But in the days to come, this war is going hot. And when it does, they've got the infrastructure in place for a genocide. Everyone knows the end is near. They can see it for themselves. And this is what's going on in every major city. One way or another, this cult of death is going to make the Georgia Guidestones happen. Now, some people out there are clinging to the dream that somehow they'll be on the winning team. Repeat after me. You are not the 1%. You will not survive what's coming unless you begin waking up everyone around you. Quit letting the television control your mind. These people on television are not going to save you. Not one of them is talking to you about what you're looking at here. Instead, they're trying to divide us by selling us lies while plotting our demise. You've been living a dream, Neo, and that dream is about to become a nightmare. Companies like Google are about to spawn AI, Skynet, Terminators, and the like. It's going to be Judgment Day, and it's going to catch everyone by surprise. The TV is not your friend. They're selling you lies while plotting your demise. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
They're never going to go back home, so they want to help them as much so that they're never just walking out of here and going back onto the street. They work with them throughout the process here to help them adjust to this new world order that they're going to be living in after this.
You found yourself some shelter here. Why are you outside during this entire hurricane?
Well, I chose not to go inside yesterday because the Salvation Army and Russian Wind's homeless shelter where they were accepting people were caught killing everybody that was in there.
I'm at the neighborhood Walmart in San Jose, California. This is what it has become. I did not want to believe it, but it's happening. Does this look like your friendly neighborhood Walmart to you?
Hey, America, everybody needs to stand up for their rights.
Okay, what they were showing, it's Walmart. It looks like a slaughterhouse. All chain link with razor wire. Also, the top is closed. They look like cages. Okay, and the point is this: as I said, I don't believe what's happening right now in this moment. It is just an episode that we can think, okay, just some bad weather, even very extreme. By the way, I'm sure you heard that right now this weekend. And probably as people listen to the show, it's happening. Of course, as I said, the show is recorded. But Sunday, it should probably be happening between Sunday and Monday. North Korea will try another launch of another nuclear or some sort of a simulation of a nuclear weapon. So this is serious, and we don't really know what could happen. Could happen the next time we talk to each other. It's going to be maybe, I don't know, years from now, because if really things go straight to a complete apocalyptic scenario, like a World War III, I don't care if it's a false flag or not, but all they need is an excuse. No, seriously, we may have no more communication.
No, I agree with you.
No more radio. I mean, remember, 9/11, it's another important day. I talk about this every time, the evidence that we've been given, and of course, I'm talking for myself, not for the station, not for my host, for my guest. I deeply believe that 9/11, all the government version is a lie, and we have proof about that. If you don't believe me, that's fine. But the point is, what we are facing now, in my opinion, could be another 9/11 on mass scale. And Houston, right now, the next few days could be starting really like a martial law scenario, because when people are going to go crazy, you know what happens when there is no water? I mean, there is no electricity. You're not going to even have water in your home. You cannot even flush the toilet, probably. So, and without that, especially with the heat, you don't live in the mountains, okay? It's pretty moist. Is it humid right now there? How hot is that?
Actually, today it's rather cool, but it is humid. Yeah. So
you need to drink.
But it pushes the people over the edge with the weather, the heat, or it's fine. Oh, they're in shock from the first event, but yet the frustration sets in, and then they realize, wait a minute. You're just preaching to the choir, because I completely agree with you.
No, I know, but I like to make it for the people out there that, they think, oh, this is not going to happen. And I tell you something, I have people in my family.
No, it's happening. It's happening now.
It's happening.
It's been happening.
Now, my point is,
it's been happening.
All I say, why am I here babbling on this show? I could just say, you know what, just get out of here and just mind my own business. If I had right now a jet, I would get a jet and fly to get my brother. It's too late. I have my own problems. I have my own problems, trust me, and I'm freaking out for my family, for him. But I'm here for a simple reason is this, because we must learn from these things. At least we must have an open mind. First of all, when you want to solve a problem, I always say we must understand the problem. And as I said, I'm not saying that this is for sure something that is being made by somebody, but let's put it in this way. Somebody, in this case, governments. They would have we're talking about our government. That's one of the functions of our government was supposed to protect us. That's it. To protect our rights and, of course, protect the people of this country. They could have for sure. Yeah, so they say. They use the technology to at least mitigate it. There is technology out there. Don't trust me. Listen to the final hour. Listen to this soldier, former soldier, who brings patents and evidence. I played before a few minutes also this part of HARP on History Channel. So the evidence is out there. So I don't care if it's negligence or if it's complete part of a plot. The point is we could have avoided this, my opinion. Now, number two, what is the big picture? What could happen in the next few days? We have Florida. We have no idea next week. I hope we can talk next week. I hope we have a phone line or some sort of,
Yeah.
And please be in touch with me.
People they're just walking around. They're in the clouds. I mean, between all the internet and the selfies and the, it's all about me and da-da-da-da-da, people have lost focus and it's just, it's like a train wreck you're watching and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
But you have made a difference. You're trying to get to people that listen and understand.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it might have been an explanation. Oh, this is why it happened, several years ago, but not now. I mean, especially with this government we had after Trump was elected.
Exactly.
Nobody's supporting him. I'm going to try to be quiet.
No, go ahead. You can say whatever you want. Go ahead. You can say whatever you want.
But I just think it's just such a sham.
Yeah.
And, maybe it didn't begin that way, but whoever, the 6 people that control the world or whoever, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is 9/11's coming, like you said, Houston, this, and then all these hurricanes behind, and people are freaking out. And, if it's the end times, it's not from God. It's from people that prey on the people that think it's the end times for God's reason.
Yeah.
God's mad because Trump won. So they're all shamed, that type of thing. It's shame, fear, and economics.
Yeah.
For sure. And control.
Yeah.
Control of what, and it's scary. It's terrifying. But yet, and it's also terrifying in a way that somehow you're isolated, or I feel that I'm isolated in times that, like, am I insane thinking this? Because everybody else is walking around, you're just, you're angry, you're this. No, I'm not. I'm realistic. I can see this. I've worked with a lot of things. I understand.
Yeah. No, all we have to do now,
I can't quit. I have to quit listening to these people.
That's why I said we got to find each other. More important, we have the duty, in my opinion, to try to warn others. The only way we can win this when we reach critical mass of knowledge. First thing. And all I say, do not trust us. Do not trust me or Laura or anything. Just look out there at the evidence. I mean, as I said, you can go to this document. I think it's very important. The ultimate weapon of mass destruction, owning the weather for military use. That's a MIL, mil, document PDF. And there is much more than that. But the point is, according to this document, weather modification, according to the U.S. Air Force document, Air Force 2025 final report, offers the war fighter a wide range of possible options to defeat or coerce an adversary capabilities. It says, extend to the triggering of floods, hurricanes, droughts, and earthquakes. Weather modification will become a part of domestic and international security. Yeah. So my point is...
This happened in Mexico last night out of the blue. We have an 8.1. Hate it for you.
Yeah.
And then this hurricane, that hurricane, 2 more coming. There's 8 million tornadoes going on. And one thing that blew my mind was like every other week on the media, it was like another Ferris wheel accident or an accident at a theme park. I don't know. Yeah. But the tornadoes, I'm like, I grew up in Alabama. Tornadoes come and go. And it's not, I don't know. It's just what the focus is. And I don't know. I worked at a hotel where people would come in. They're always on their phone. They're not paying attention.
Yeah.
They're just feeding in. And who knows? Sometimes I hate to even get on media on my phone, but I feel it's a valuable resource. And when I say, I'll say things and just what I believe, and people are just looking at me like I'm insane. And it's like, that's okay, because I know it in my heart.
Listen,
you can see it.
At this point, as I said, I'm trying to focus, and the only reason why I'm on the air, to try to talk to people who want to listen. If you want to laugh at me, don't even bother. Turn the radio off. Do whatever you're doing. Keep doing it. That's fine. But my point is, there are people out there that sometimes all they need is some information to make accurate decisions. And better. That's all I can try to do. And all I'm trying to bring here is, beside my opinions, I bring you facts. As I said, we on the way that by 2025, I just posted also on my Facebook page this document that I think is very important. I mean, the people can download it, print it out. This is directly from the government. And as I said, technology there was old, 1995, 1997. They talk about this 1977. I mean, there is so much the last 30 years.
It's been going on and planned.
Yeah.
It's planned.
Now,
and I don't mean to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
I have to say one more thing. Now I forgot. But the people that I forgot. It'll come back.
No problem. Just when you remember,
it'll come back.
Tell me, I'll bring you back. I mean, as I said, this is the part of what we can do right now. Please do not give up on trying to wake up other people out there. As much they make fun of you, bring the evidence and then let them see it. As I said, I have a brother, okay, that a few years ago we had a conversation. I am kind of the paranoid guy, and, forget about saying, Florida, I don't like it very much, but, that's fine. If you want to go there, do a business, it's fine. But at least build something in the perspective that something may happen. Don't think that, anything can happen everywhere. We are living on planet Earth.
Of course.
A rock may fall from the sky, okay? But for sure, I wouldn't bring a castle of glass in California, okay? In front of the San Andreas, on top of the San Andreas fault. That's for sure. But beside that, at least try to organize your life accordingly. Prepare accordingly. Now let's talk about solutions. Something that we can do at least to prepare for our little microcosms. We may not change the globalist plan for right now because unfortunately they do all they can do and we don't have the technology and the number to completely stop it. But at least we can start to prepare for our lives, our families. First of all, number one, acknowledge that something, it is not just normal and natural. Even if there is a natural event, we must be prepared. But for sure now, when we start to say, hey, wait a second, this may be part of a bigger plan, we must really pay attention and have even much more effort and resources to prepare for it. What does it mean? As I said, things can happen anywhere. Look at now Washington, California is burning, Washington, Oregon is burning. I don't know, there could be also an accident.
See, that's where they instill the fear because they're like, oh my God, it's the end times, it's this. Well, it could be. It was maybe the end before it began. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But, this hurricane or whatever, attempt to control, which, it's a storm, I understand, but excuse me, it's beyond, and I don't understand how people can't see this, because especially after the election, that felt contrived, oh, she's going to win. Now the people that are mad are just so mad they can't even stand themselves, and they do not want to hear anything, and it's like, take it or leave it. Here's the information. Take what you need. Leave the rest there. I can't think for you, and I don't want to think for you because I think for myself.
All you can do now is think for yourself and your family, and barely you have a chance to do something. And now we go through some ideas and solution. Very practical, simple. Before that, I just got this video a few days ago about a movie. It was called Category 7. Something hard to believe. I need to get this movie in my hands, but I don't believe it's a coincidence. Let me play this. 1 second. Stay there.
Okay.
You guys are going to freak out. Now, we got the Google Doodle. Just take a look at that.
underground, going into the underground, whatnot. Now, you're going to freak out. You're not going to believe this. You know what was released 11 years ago, 9 months ago? 11 years, 9 months ago. It was called a movie called Category 7, The End of the World. And it's about 2 massive hurricanes hitting the United States. Look. Category 7, End of the World. Randy Quaid, Shannon Doherty, Gina Gertzman. You know, they love that Liberty just all messed up right there. Luciferians giving props in this to themselves. The End of the World, Category 7. The storm of global proportions is coming. Now, can you tell me that this is a coinkydink? It's on 9/11, folks. It's set to hit on 9/11. This movie came out 11 years ago, 9 months. 11 years, 9 months ago. The director of FEMA, a scientist, and 2 storm chasers look for the answers of massive storms threatening the globe. Disaster film, thriller, miniseries, political thriller. There's only 2 seasons, episode 1 and episode 2. Harvey and Irma. Episode 1, Harvey. Episode 2, Irma. Looks like it does mass destruction to oil rigs. And a whole bunch of other things. Looks like it does mass damage to the United States through the imagery of the White House with the American flag on top. Just stick with me. Let's check out the front of the thing. Category 7.
Anyway, people can find out that it is kind of a coincidence. I don't believe in this coincidence, though. It's something beyond that, my opinion.
Well, with this hurricane, they're like, oh, it's going to be a Category 6, but we don't know what that really means. And it's like, you know, they keep pushing the bar. You get people used to one thing and then, you know, moving the bar. You know, the statues coming down, the flag, the this, the that. And it's just.
And as I said, we don't know. The point is, at this point, that could be the final. Remember, the president is just a figure at this point. As you can see, he doesn't even know what's going on some issues because there is a deep state all the way. They are bureaucrats. They've been there. They never leave, regardless of the elections. There is a military-industrial complex. Is always there. The point is, we have no idea really. The system right now is so much on autopilot. If there is really a disaster of epic proportions, we can go straight to martial law, and the president probably he has almost nothing much to say. Even technically, he's the one in control. The real in control is FEMA and all the bureaucrats around FEMA and Homeland Security. So, by the way, we know the story. There was a pastor, I forgot his name, just a couple of weeks ago. He went to Washington and he went to talk to several congressmen. And the information, he went out public. He went also on a radio show, Alex Jones radio show. Okay? And the point is, he went public. This guy is a very famous pastor out there, very outspoken. And he said, he was told by a couple of senior congressmen that there is a plan to remove Trump. And this is when they said remove Trump, is so maybe it's going to be like through impeachment. No, to try to remove him physically. Okay? And they weren't kidding. So he's not kidding. The man, he has a lot of things that could really, he wouldn't go out. He has a lot of credibility, by the way. I did a research about him. The point is, I believe this could be also part of the plan. Something can happen to the president. At that point, we have a complete country that is under the complete control of the globalists and will be on autopilot to some sort of a schematic plan for martial law, and everything's going to be feeding the plan to create a global government. I really believe. Now, as I said, what can we do right now in this moment? First of all, there is sometimes a point that you need to really, regardless your religious belief, have faith that somehow there is somebody above us that can give you some help. But at the same time, you need to help yourself, because if you just think that you're not going to do anything because somebody's going to help you, that's not going to work. God says, help yourself and I help you. But meanwhile, you got to do your part. So, of course, if you had a chance, get out of this area. That's number one thing. But if you're stuck there, I hope you have a structure that somehow you could be able to resist this type of situation, because, we have no idea. This is beyond just, you are in a building. When we have no idea. They say, as 6, 5, we don't have an idea about 6 because it's never been reported. This could be, I don't know, destroying everything. I hope not. I hope,
I hope not. But you feel the energy, the full moon, the full corn moon, everything. It's just, it's isolating sometimes in this society when you believe or know things. It's not even what I believe. It's just what I know.
Yeah.
Such as when I was active, more active politically, I had people from D.C. calling me, telling me to cease and desist. Do not keep calling back here.
Yeah.
Things of this nature. Ever since then, I feel targeted. Not like I'm a victim, but just that they're messing with you, and just shut up. And that way, it's completely true. I believe you. And I know it's true. And not just believe you, it's the writings on the wall. Like you said, there's evidence, there's facts if people choose to listen to it. But that sometimes I feel they have people so wired up that, like Antifa, all this, they don't have time to listen to it because they're so caught up.
Yeah.
In, and they had ads in the paper, let's come down and do this and this and that, whatever. Doesn't matter how it got to where it is, but it's at a critical situation right now.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I would like to say this. First of all, a prayer for everybody out there in moments of needs. Could be Texas, could be Florida, tomorrow could be Arizona, anybody. But for sure, right now we have 2 parts of the country. I say 3 parts of the country because we have, of course, Florida. The next few hours, we really pray for a miracle. Whatever belief you have, I don't care if you believe in whatever you do. I don't care. Just pray for good. Pray for to saving these people. Houston, as I said, the nightmare just started it because people, yes, they lost their homes, but now without water, without electricity, diseases, looting, and desperation. I mean, that's something. Violence. It can be terrible, a nightmare. Sometimes I feel more sorry for people who stay alive than when you die. If you die immediately, you're pretty good. But if you think about if you lost, in the middle of a place that there is no water, no food, and you're living like a subhuman, a sub-animal. I mean, animals at least have a better chance to survive, So that's not right. I pray for that you can have a chance to at least get some dignity. And then, of course, we have the East Coast, the West Coast, all these fires that are devastating there too. And we don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, people in Mexico, I feel sorry for them too. That's earthquake. Right now, we have no even the details, all things that happen in there. So, meanwhile, we got to have something we can do. Right now, I was trying to say that, first of all, get out of the place that you think could be in danger. I mean, as I say, everything can happen anywhere. But if you know that you are on a special targeted place, get out of there. Number 2, have the basic. It all starts, first of all, with water. Without water, you cannot live more than probably a couple of days, especially in a very hot environment, a humid environment. And don't just think, bottled water, it's fine, but sometimes it's going to, somehow, it's going to be over pretty soon. So I always an advocate, and I'm not even selling this stuff. I've just said buy whatever you find you like, but buy a water filter purification. There are many out there. I like, for example, Berkey. I like ProPure. A couple $100 you can carry with you. Everywhere you go, it's gravity operated. It's really worth every penny. You can get water out of the pond and drink it.
Like that straw that filters it. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It's a system that filters it and
Yeah, it's made up by two buckets pretty much. Normally steel are the best. I like ProPure very much. They have the latest technology of filters. The top bucket, you pour the water, they are the filters, and the water goes through the filters, they go to the bottom buckets. And the water tastes great, and it's really safe to drink. Even if you get water from a pond, that's priceless because, you can carry that with you everywhere you go. You can get water from the toilet and you can drink it. That's my point, So number one. Number two, food, is never enough, especially when you have right now emergency food. You're not going to have a chance to really cook pasta, gourmet pasta right now, but you need to eat something to keep you alive. So to storage quality dry food, it's important. Don't get garbage that is full of chemicals. Try to get the good stuff.
Yeah, the chemicals.
Yeah, try to stay away from them. All right, but at this point, everything you can get your hands on, you can't get picky at this point. Get it. Another important thing, extra gasoline. We need to fill up not just our tanks of our cars and trucks, but also have at least few extra cans to fill up.
Oh, yeah.
Because things, right now, for example, if you are in Florida, if you don't have extra tanks, you're not going to make it out. Especially when you live in this area. You must have that as a plan. What else? Final part of the equation. You need guns. You need guns. Even if you don't like guns, I don't care. When things get evil out there, the only thing may save you between you and a looter or a rapist or a killer is going to be a firearm and you knowledge how to use it. That's all I can say. And for the rest, you got, as I said, try to be smart. Don't get out. Don't start to, at this point, take care of your family. Take care of yourself. Your family is your first responsibility because when you're taking care of yourself and your family, you already remove a burden from government that can help somehow other people that they weren't prepared. So being prepared is not just good for you, but also it's good for the community because you're not going to be a burden to other people. That's the bottom line. I wanted to give you the floor.
It's like giving yourself oxygen on the plane before you give it to others.
Exactly. Anything else, you want to share with you what's going on, for example, in your area, also in your family, something you are aware, some plan you want to talk about it? I mean, did you consider about firearms?
We don't have any firearms. I wish we did. And we don't, we don't really have a plan. We're just like idiots. Not really, but not aware. Everybody's too busy to do anything. The one good thing, the Italian mama, you should have her on your show, Maria Pia Fornardi.
Okay.
From Rome. She used to be in the military back then, etc. She's very like-minded, and she cannot just stand it. But there's something keep you to yourself. Stay with the family. Yeah. You go out, we're here to help you. Really? Well, let's pull you under the water and there happens to be an alligator. Whatever.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But, we kind of don't know.
Yeah.
Even though, however aware I can be, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We have water. We have plenty of provisions type of thing. Plenty of gas. Extra gas tanks. Just no arms. And this, again, it reminds me of Mad Max, Mel Gibson, 100 years ago, the movies.
Yeah.
Just everybody's on their own, and sometimes you have to circle the wagons. Fine, we wish you well, here's a bottle of water, but right now we don't need any extra energy to go to things that are not supporting what we need to do. Like I said, you've got to give yourself oxygen first.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just sad, right now, I hope and pray everything's going to be okay for you and your family. And after this, as priority, I wish and hope that you, your family, at least would consider to have at least a firearm at hand. And there are different things.
Absolutely.
I will talk this in the second hour in details. I have probably about 20 minutes. I will just talk about the basic firearms for survival in emergency situation like that. You don't need to be somebody who loves firearms. You don't need somebody a gun freak. This is about like when you have a spare tire for your car. You're not waiting that you got a flat, but in case you have it, at least you have a plan. Right. At least you can defend your family.
Actually, we do have one firearm. I keep interrupting you, and I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We do have a firearm.
Okay.
My dad, a Ruger something.
Okay.
And,
what is the rifle?
That's all we have.
A handgun.
It's a handgun.
Okay, something better than nothing. My point is something there. But as I said, for a situation like this, the first thing you should have, in my opinion, it's a rifle. A rifle, why? Yeah. Because the rifle, first of all, no war was won by handgun. Handgun is very, you should have on you always. And I go in more details in the second hour, at the end of the hour. But my point, the rifle, remember during the riots in Los Angeles, the only people, the only store owners were able to defend their properties and their lives. They were on top of the roofs with rifles, because that's how you keep the enemies away. Handgun, you're ready too close. You can smell it. You know. Listen, I want to say something.
They can take it.
Exactly. You're fighting already on each other. When you have a rifle, you can keep them away 500-600 yards away from your turf, from your castle. Listen, I want to say, first of all, I pray for you, your family, and everybody in Florida out there. And for my brother, I tell you, I'm very stressed out. I hope everything's going to be okay for everybody, but I realistically understand what we are facing here is something we've never really seen. And all we can know now is just, I don't know, just pray and wait. At the same time, learn. Yeah. I hope we can learn from this. We can learn at every level. Everybody, or every one of us can learn. Even the most prepared person can learn. But for sure, I'm sure you can learn something right now. Say, I wish I could have done that. Maybe I would have spent that money, that paycheck for this right now. An extra generator, or an extra gas tank, or maybe an extra rifle, or one rifle, or the proper generator, or water system, whatever you can. But more important, we help each other. This is the spirit of the show. It's called love above everything. Then, of course, we got guns and freedom, but we need to love each other, help each other. I'll give you a hug, okay? A big hug to you and your family, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Please, can you keep me positive, your Facebook, as things get nasty there? Can you PM me or let me know when you start to be, because the communication may go down. You can see that immediately.
Right.
You don't need to spend, electricity that you don't need to, but even just a PM, say, things are nasty, or they're getting okay. Keep me posted, please. I appreciate it, okay?
I will. I certainly will, Luca.
Thank you, Laura. I give you the floor like I normally do to all my guests. You got the last 60 seconds. Go ahead. You got the floor.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And during this crazy time, it's such a pleasure to know that I'm not isolated in the way I think as to really what's really going on. And I thank you so much for that and the time.
You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna. This is an emergency broadcast. And this is exactly the second hour. As you know, you will listen to the show probably on Sunday. I hope so. And unfortunately, many things may have happened between or meanwhile in the country, especially in some parts of the country at this point. But what I really believe at this point, the next few hours, 9/11, it's happening. more may happen. This is the hour normally I talk about guns. But when it comes down to guns, I also try to talk about preparedness. And how to prepare the best way we can. Because what's happening right now, I really believe is something that this country had never really faced it. We had never faced something like this. I talked to you before during the first hour, bringing evidence and facts. I really believe that these natural disasters, maybe they're not that natural. We know for sure that weather modification is a science. There are patents, and they are also used as weapons. I will bring you more documents during the final hour with this Army veteran from the Canadian Army who's bringing documents, patents, and different official documents that really prove that there is this technology. They can create natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes. So that's a fact. Now, this hour I want to talk about what can you do, what can we do as a regular people to try to prepare in a way that, at least we can take care of our family. At least we can take care of our family. We have to do something. At the end, I say there is a plan above us, things that we cannot change, things that we cannot control, and that's fine. At that point, I leave you in the hands of your God or gods, wherever you believe. But meanwhile, I believe that your God will tell you, you got to do your best. We have to do our best. There is an expression, help yourself and God will help you. I believe in that. So we have to do something here. We have to do something here. So there is something we can prepare. I tell you, I have family members right now, especially one family member, but his family is exactly in the heart, or maybe in the eye, of this disaster in Florida, Miami. And I wish he would have heard me. Sometimes I feel very powerless. I feel frustrated. I'm trying to share this information and warn people out there who I don't even know. And then I have members in my family who don't listen. Or at least, whatever. That's not going to happen to me. That's paranoia. You don't need a gun. Fine. I wish I were wrong. I wish I was wrong, excuse me. Okay, this is the hour I want to tell you as much as I can, because we got to learn from this disaster. As I said, listen to the final hour, and you will see what I think about really who is behind, but now we got to find a way to prepare. Number one, what do we need? We need a safe place. There are some parts, some things that we can do, some things that unfortunately we cannot really challenge. The force of nature or whatever is still force of nature, even if it's manipulated. Sometimes there is nothing you can do. When we have a class 5 hurricane, I'm sorry, your regular, even steel building is not going to make it. You need to have some sort of a real underground facility made with some specs that will eventually, survive this. Anything above ground can be very useless. At the same time, you got to also consider you may not have that. So what do you do? Well, if you're on flat land, I'm sorry, probably you're screwed. Try to find places like shelters, yes, but be sure that the shelters are made with a chance to survive it. Otherwise, you're better off you find your own shelter. Cement is your friend. Still, even if you are in an apartment made of cement or a building made of cement, the skeleton may survive, but everything inside may be sucked out. Yes. Even if you have these special shutters, when we have a class 5 hurricanes, I'm sorry, that's not going to be enough to keep things inside. They're going to get ripped. So you need to have a plan. How can you somehow survive that extraction? So that's the first thing. Figure it out. Find a way if you can anchor yourself somewhere. I know it sounds scary. It's not even going to be a few seconds, maybe minutes or hours. I don't know. Another important thing. Maybe people don't think about that. Helmets. the first part you're going to be really get hurt. If you get smashed back and forth on the wall, it's going to be your head. Try to remove everything that could be, let's say, exploding on your face, glasses, things like that. But also make your room as safe as possible without things with corners. And I'm not kidding. Get a helmet and wear it. Something could save your life. Get goggles for your eyes. Something could save your life. I mean, you can stay maybe a few minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour being, blown out in a room. But at least if you can save your eyes, you can save your head, you have a chance to survive. So that's first thing. Believe it or not, before even we go into guns, right now, this is the time where you need a helmet, in my opinion. You need a mask for the face, something that could protect you from debris. And also you need a pair of ballistic goggles that could protect your eyes. Without your eyes, you cannot see. You're blind. You are completely defenseless. As I said, you need a place where to hide. At least wait that this hurricane, this disaster is going through. I don't know, but it depends at this point where you can find it. All I know that you got to think ahead. The last place you want to stay is on the open. There is no way you can survive on the open. The other option would be government shelters. I say yes, and also I say be careful. That would be the last resort, in my opinion. Because the problem is government shelters, who's going to be there. Normally people maybe who don't have cars. People maybe that they are really desperate. And you don't really know who's going to be next to you. Let's not forget Katrina. In the stadium, people got raped in front of other people. People died. When you put too many people in the same place, you're going to see, unfortunately, mechanism of aggressivity and behavior that can be scary. Probably you're not going to have guns or any type of way to defend yourself, but at the same time, you know very well that they may have guns. And more important, they don't even need guns. Evil people, especially when they work in a gang, more than one, normally they stick together. They will kill you, rape you, and do everything they can. And probably you will not find law enforcement there. This is no guarantee. Think about it. You have policemen, officers, and, they have their families too. So probably they're going to be there with their families. So as I said, try to find your own place ahead of time. But don't get stuck in the middle of the highway, especially when you're running out of gas. If you can, there are some point that, class 5 hurricanes, category 5, there is nothing really you can do. You can pray. That's it. Even the cement and all this stuff, you may not be able. But still, at least try to have a chance. Maybe you're not going to get hit by a 5, you may be hit by a 4. So try to make at least your room inside this building. If you have a chance to live at least in a cement building made with code to sustain category 4, make it at least in a way that you have your room safe. Remove corners, remove things you may trip, or even, remember, there's going to be no electricity. You may hurt yourself. You're going to be shaking down. Windows, you need to find a way to close these windows as much as you can. Even if you have to put furniture or something. That's going to be the problem. They're going to be somehow, this pressure is going to be sucking things out of the building. So, that's for starter. Now, if you can, stay away from ground levels. Water, it may come. And you could be underwater. So you need to stay at least 20 feet above the water. Now, you don't want to even be too high. You don't want to be the last floor. Said that, once you're in, you need as much as you can to be ready to stay by yourself on your own for at least 2 weeks. People say 2 weeks? Yes. You don't know really when next help is going to come. Maybe 3 days, maybe a week. But what if it's more than a week? First of all, water. There is no way you're going to live without water, especially in an environment like hot and humid. More probably than 2 days. After 1 day without water, when you are in a humid environment, you may already start to losing it. Going crazy. So, storage in water, yes, it's one good idea, but unfortunately you need to think beyond that. As I said many times, also during the first hour, a water purification system, and I don't care which brand. I'm not selling anything here, okay? I don't get paid. This is not an ad. I just tell you from the bottom of my heart, spend a couple $100 with some purification system, especially gravity system like the Berkey or the ProPure. They are the best. Try to get one made of steel, so it's stronger. You don't need to stress out. Now, water, it's life. So look, we didn't talk about guns yet. Yes, we will go there, but without water, you're not going to even need a gun because you're going to be dead before you can use it to defend yourself. That's the bottom line. The best weapon is prevention. Don't forget. Okay? Prevention. So, you need to have water. As I said, purification system is a must. You can at least get water, even if you have to, from the toilet, from anywhere. Okay? You need to think about that. Because when there is no electricity, I got news for you, there is no running water anymore. Okay? That's the bottom line. So you need to find water wherever you can. Could be the fountain, could be the swimming pool, could be anywhere. But at least with the purification system, you have a chance. Number 2, you need to have food, of course. But you can stay without food even a week. That's not the problem. But still, you need food to keep yourself, your body energetic. You know, to have a 24 hours detox or whatever you want to call it, you know, that's fine. But after, you need to start eating again. Otherwise, you will lose energy. So start to think about food that gives you energy, nourishment. And since now you could have a chance to buy it in a way that you don't buy garbage. Try to stay away from things full of chemicals that make you sick. Buy food that you could storage and you would use always anyway, without even waiting for the end of the world. There are many things, many options out there right now. Even dry food. You can find good quality. Even GMO free. But you need to have some food. Stay away from cans if you can, because cans normally take a lot of space. They're heavy to carry. Get something that's dry. Even jerky or anything could be, you know, nuts. Something give you nutriment and at the same time give you calories, and you can have at least something to live meanwhile. So water and food are must, but you need also to think about, you need to find a way that your place, I don't care if it's an apartment or a house or a garage or some sort of, underground shelter that you own, is safe. And what is the best defense you have? Not being detected. After when the storm is out, after when all this nightmare of the weather will pass through, if you make it alive, the worst is not over yet. Beside, of course, the problem that we may have thinking about, water and food, that's something you can take care of right now. The real problem could be looting. People are desperate. People will come to your door. They may be good people that are just desperate, or they may be bad people who they were already bad before, and now they're going to be even worse. So how do you even try to defend yourself? You're going to probably be outnumbered anyway. So the first way would be to try to not be detected. If you live in an apartment building, if you make it alive, the first thing you should be able to keep yourself completely stealth. So don't use lights unless you really have to. Completely darken all the windows every way you can. If you have to cook food, well, don't do that. Don't cook. Don't start to make, smells going around the building. Don't start to give up a way that you have electricity. Okay? You need to be as stealthy as possible. You want to avoid a confrontation. Number 2, you need to reinforce your entrances. If you live in an apartment especially, even if you live in a home, if you live in a regular house or in a regular apartment, your door is just a joke, is an illusion. Normally we have a door because we just keep good people away. The real bad people, the door is a joke, unless you have a reinforced frame, a reinforced door. So you gotta somehow put something between you and that door if they try to kick that door, you must have at least some pieces of furniture you can ready to cram there immediately. You're not going to find a piece of furniture when somebody's pushing or kicking the door. It must be already there. That's very important. Very important. Now, we go into the guns part. But before I said you need to prepare all this. Another very important thing you need is communication. First of all, you need to know what's going on out there with the world. You need to have a radio. Yes. Any radio could do it, but batteries will die. So I will always say have a crank up radio. Or even a solar battery radio, but crank up are even better. An emergency radio, $30-40. You must have radio. You must know what's going on out there. If you have shortwave frequencies, even better, so you can also capture news from other countries, hopefully. Then you need also communication between you and maybe some of your family members. If you are in the same area, let's say neighborhood, walkie-talkie would be a must. But don't forget, everything you say there will be heard. There are no secure lines. So don't give information that could be compromising, like names, like addresses, like what you have or what you don't have. Looters may have radios too. Okay? So find your way to communicate in a safe way. Very important thing. Lighting. You need lights. You need lights. And more important, you need my opinion. Something that normally the average person don't have because you think you don't need that. After all, we live in a civil society. We are not going to war. But you never think that things may happen. You need a night vision system. Because if you have a light and you're looking for something in the middle of the night or hear a noise, the moment that you turn the light on, you will attract income fire. You will attract curiosity. You will attract attention. So sometimes it's good to be able to see out there in the darkness without being seen. So there are like right now outside there, even just very economical systems or monocular, $100-150. You can get a Generation 1, very inexpensive, cheap night vision. It's a must. You must have at least one. My humble opinion. So, before even we go there, we need to think about basic emergency for cuts, laceration, wounds. You may not be trained as a doctor, of course, or as a ER, but the point is if you have a bleeding part of your arm, of your leg, you must at least stop that. Because help may be on the way very, very late, days after. You may already be dead. At least the basics. GARS. System that you can at least control bleeding. I'm not telling you that you're going to be able to learn now to do some sort of, sutures and stitches, but at least the basic emergency to stop bleedings and cuts. Okay? You must. But more important, you try to avoid risk. Try to stay safe. That's the most important thing. That's the best way you can do it. So you don't need to fix yourself. Especially when you don't know how to do it. Now, another important thing we go now is firearms. People say, finally, Luca, this is our about guns. Yes, guys, but as I said, if you have no food, if you have no water, if you have not a roof or at least a shelter, guns not going to be good enough. Now, it's very sad when I hear people, when I hear people who right now, in the middle of Florida, in the middle of this in this middle of this disaster, of this hurricane, still don't have a gun. Don't get me going. I have family members that unfortunately they are like that. It's a little too late. But I'm talking right now, people that they are maybe listening to the show. Maybe they never thought about a gun. Maybe they hate a gun. That's fine. I'm not telling you gotta like anything. But at least think about like you have a spare tire. You don't like to have a flat. Nobody likes to have a flat. But in case you have a flat tire, well, you have at least a tire to change. And maybe you also know how to use the spare tire. Same story with guns. The problem is going to happen after the real disaster, the real physical hit of this hurricane The worst is not over. Forget about lack of electricity. No sewer system working. You better be ready to dump your poop and pee, whatever, outside the window. You don't want to leave it in the house because you're going to be sick then. Not just the smell, it's going to be diseases. But also don't forget, water, as I said, but at the same time, you're going to have the next stage. It's going to be looters. There are two different types of looters. Desperate looters. They're normally decent human beings, but what they will do things they would never do in their life. Moved by desperation. People may change. And then there are, of course, the professional criminals that they will have a very great time preying on innocent, preying on people who normally never had to face a situation like this. And they will still live in denial because, after all, they are nice people. It can happen to them, right? They don't care. This is not a video game. This is not about playing fair. They will kill you. They will rape you. They will get your stuff, and they will probably enjoy it. And probably if they're alive, they will be so happy and jazzed up that they will think, wow, this is really going to be a great day for the criminals. Because every thugs out there will survive an event like that. They will feel so full of themselves that they will almost like having superpower. After all, they are the predators. And they will go after anything they can. Remember, they used to do this before even, when they were still law and order. Now that there is no law and order, at least for a few days or maybe weeks, they can pretty much do whatever they want. So this is something to think about it. Now, that's why you must have firearms. If you have to have one thing only, let's start from the most important emergency thing. You must have one. Let's say all you have. People may say a handgun. You know what? I say a rifle. I said many times, no war was ever won with a handgun. People say, but look, we're not going to war. We're just defending our homes, or maybe our apartment. That's fine. I still want to have the most powerful tool I can have as a civilian. And the handgun is not the most powerful tool. Fact. I carry a handgun only because I cannot carry the rifle all day long. It's too heavy, maybe too big to hide or to conceal. So what do? I carry my handgun because at least my rifle is no more than 5 rounds away from me. Yes, 5 rounds. I can be able to shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and meanwhile I should be able to reach my rifle. That's what it is about. Yes. If you can, have both, for sure. Because you must always carry your handgun. When you are in your apartment, when you are in your home, wherever you are, you always have your handgun on you. Period. People say, well, it's a little paranoid. Guess what? Doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want. This is reality. You're living right now like you are in war zone. They can knock your door immediately, anytime. They can take you off guard anytime. You know, you, after all, just you with your wife and maybe your children or your child. You know, so that's my point. You don't know what's coming. So at least you have a chance, having the handgun on you, you will have a chance to react as fast as you can. You cannot, you know, the worst thing would be that you are on your property, on your place, wherever, and in 3 seconds or less, they can knock everything down. And you have no even a way to reach for your firearm. So a handgun would be the first thing I always would have on me. Period. Now you have, second thing you should have, it's a rifle to have close to you. Now which rifle at this point, you know, anything is better than nothing. But let's be fair and honest here. Semi-automatic, it's the must. Bolt action is not really the first choice here. Bolt action would be as a second potential rifle. As a high power rifle. If I really had to choose between right now the 2 best options, I would go would be one, the AR-15. I don't care which brand, but get something that works, that's for sure. You know, the Don't Tread on Us platform that you can find ar15shop.us. It's one option, it's economical. The polymer lower is amazing. But more important now, you need to find whatever you can find. An AR-15 that is stable, it's solid, and is going to be able to do not fail, okay? You need firepower. You need at least 30 rounds magazine. You need more than one magazine. Why? Because when they come, they may come in group. They may come that you don't know how many. You're not going to have a chance to reload sometimes, especially if you are not trained. So, that's a must. That's a must. You must have a rifle. Second option would be also an AK-47 style semi-automatic rifle. Problem with that is recoil is little more. Maybe not everybody can, control an AK-47, 7.62x39, but everybody, even women and children, can control 5.56 or 223 Remington, excuse me. Okay, that's a fact. So that's very important. And why the rifle? Because first of all, not just the ballistic power that you have out of a rifle, that's a must. But also the idea that you can control your enemies, your aggressor from distance. Remember during the riots in Los Angeles, I was in Italy at the time, but the point is, the only people who were able to defend their businesses and their lives, they were the merchants, mostly Koreans, on top of their buildings with their AR-15s or rifles. Because, you can, even if you're not very trained, with the rifle, you have much better chances to hit your opponents, your aggressor, even 300-400 yards. Even without training, you can hit them. Or at least they can see the bullets coming close. Okay, that's bad enough for them. Handgun, are you kidding me? The average person cannot be probably more than 25-30 yards, and that's stretching it. So that's a must. You must have a rifle. Now, when I say rifle, for short, intermediate distances, a 5.56, 223, it's great. Or even a 7.62x39. But if you need to have like an high-power rifle, let's say really you are alone at that point. People need to understand the National Guard may not even be around. You may be really surrounded by gangs. There are already gangs out there, guys, believe it or not. And now for them it's Christmas time. They can go out there shopping without the consequences of law enforcement. Think about it. So you own your own. Everything you have at this point is going to be whatever you bought. So you need also an high-power rifle. I would go for a bolt action. As I said many times, you don't need to spend much money. Even a Mosin Nagant, 7.62x54 Russian, $150 to $200 rifle, tops, could be what save you between you and a bunch of gangs. Because that rifle can knock down cars, can knock down, trucks, engines. Because the 5.56 is good on flash, it's good on, bodies, but beyond 200 yards, you start to lose the type of power that you need. And more important, through objects and obstacles, they don't have anymore they don't do the work anymore. That's the reality. That's why, every gun, every caliber has a situation. That's the point. You need an high-power rifle, but at least if you have one rifle only, get something between AR-15 or an AK-47 platform, please. I don't even tell you how many ammo. You get whatever you can. Now at this point, at least something. You need to have at least 200-300 rounds on you. I'm not even saying stash. You need to have a way you can be able to load up a few magazines on you. But at least have something. Now, shotgun. Yes, in ideal world, if you need to prepare for everything, you should also have a shotgun. And let me tell you exactly why. Think about it. They try to breach your door. You live in an apartment. They try to knock down through that alley, through the gate that separates you from your property to them, from them. Shotgun hole is one of the most powerful tools. Yeah, the handgun can hurt, but you're shooting one bullet at a time. And after all, they are somehow substandard, they're not as powerful as a shotgun, or a rifle would be. Even the rifle is a powerful tool. But when you have that type of aggression through let's say, specific, let's say, location, like could be a gate, a door, an entrance. The shotgun is one of the most powerful things you could use, because you can direct the firepower in that corner, in that some sort of a channeling, and you could really stop almost any type of attack, especially with the right shot shells. So that's the point. Back shots are a must. You must have back shots. During the regular days, you could buy right now ammunition for really affordable prices. I mean, I just bought for $85, I think less than that, $65, 250 back shots. $65, 250 back shots with another $15 or $20 shipping, $85 altogether. Military grade back shots. 250 rounds could save your life, really, especially in a disaster like this. Just to have a shotgun, just to be able to know how to use it. And if they know that you have a shotgun, the regular scumbag, I would say, you know what, let's not go there. Okay? So please, shotguns are also very affordable. And why I'm saying all this, after all, maybe some of you, they're screwed right now. They don't have a shotgun, they don't have a gun, they maybe don't have water. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you now. All I hope and pray you make it, and you learn from this. You learn from this. That's all I hope. And when you come back to reality, you will start to look at reality in a different way. And you don't gonna get the arrogance to say, oh, you see, everything is okay. No, I was blessed. I was a miracle. I'm a living miracle. So, my point is, you need to use that opportunity now to learn what you need to do next. You need to do this next. If you are not doing it yet, let's say right now you live in a place that nothing happening yet. After all, you don't live in Florida. Or after all, you don't live in California where there is, earthquakes or things like that. Guess what? Tomorrow could be another thing. Tomorrow could be an EMP. Tomorrow could be a natural disaster of different level. You don't know. You must have this basic preparation. So I really say, please, shotgun is a must. Shotgun is a must. And I'm not even going now into the way training. Training, that's something as valuable as the gun that you have. Because if you have a shotgun, or if you have a rifle, you don't even know how to load it up. You don't even know how to be safe with that. You're probably going to be harmful to yourself and to your family or to some innocent there. So you must, whatever guns you buy, you must go through some basic training, at least to be able to operate it, load it, unload it, and be sure that you can at least aim and hit a target. And this is just for average situation, okay? I'm not talking about you having any special, skills right now. At least some basic would save your life. Between that and nothing could be a saving factor. I'm really getting to a point that, I'm stressed out. Not for me, of course. I mean, yes, I'm not saying things cannot happen here, but I'm mostly stressed out for all the people right now that are not prepared. And I also have family members, as I said, as we speak. So this is something we need to start to consider. What to do, how to prepare, okay? Because time is the essence now. Things are happening. And as I said during my first hour, and also as I said during my final hour, I believe, yes, there are some elements that are just, let's say, act of God. I also believe that right now there is more than just God work. Right now what I really believe it's happening, it's manipulation by the elite to create chaos, because after all, they will create the new world order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. That's what they do. That's what they do. So whatever we're going to face the next few weeks or months is not going to be an accident. It's not going to be any type of mistake, This is going to be something that really we have no idea how big can be. I really believe, by the way, we are living in a plan right now to by the elite, created by the elite, to create chaos and destruction, and out of these ashes, create a new world order. That's what they try to do. And as I said, Trump is not perfect. Things I don't agree with him, things that unfortunately has been changing. But at the same time, I believe that somehow they will use him as the scapegoat. And they will use him also, in my opinion, to really, let's say, blame it on him, and everything's going to be happening under him. So we have a Korea situation that is not by accident happening. I really believe that Korea is exactly the boogeyman that the global elite is being feeding, financing. Let's not forget who gave the nukes to the North Korea government. It was during the Clinton administration. Okay? That's our tax dollar at work. And now they can use that against us. So it's not an accident, okay? It's not an accident. Not is an accident here. So think about this. Now they can unleash the dog. Think about it. So we have to prepare for the worst. I hope next Sunday I'm going to be on the air. I really do. Because I don't know what's going to happen right now, day by day. I cannot be so arrogant to say, I'll see you next Sunday. That would be a very arrogant thing to say. So we got to be prepared for everything. Even here in Arizona. People say, oh, we are far away from Florida, far away from Texas. Yes. But don't forget, martial law can happen anywhere, nationwide. All they need is an excuse. All they need is a factor. Under martial law, you cannot go anymore to Walmart or to your gun shop to buy your guns or to buy your ammunition. So whatever you're going to do, you better do it now. That's all I'm saying. Use this terrible disaster as an opportunity to somehow have a chance to do what you have to do for yourself and for your family. You owe it. You owe it to your family. That's a fact. Even if you hate guns, I don't care. Think about you hate guns, that's fine. You don't need to like guns. You don't need to go to bed with guns. In bed with guns. But you need to, you need to understand that gun may save your life. And more important, there is things be worse than death. Death, it's very bad, of course, but if you believe that there is an afterlife, it can be not that bad. The problem is living as a complete slave, living as no dignity, even having water to drink or eating things that right now would be completely not even able to think. We Americans, and more important, you guys that you were born here. I was born in Italy, and more important, I heard stories from my grandfather. It wasn't a Great Depression. There was starvation during the war. Starvation when there is no more economy because everything is completely bombed. People eating things that you don't want to talk about it, especially on the air. So we need to think about the worst. So that can be very bad, but being raped, being tortured can be worse. So you better understand that concept. The freaks out there, the gangs, the people who are somehow psychopaths, they will enjoy and love situations like this. And they will want to have every edge they can. So you better start to have guns and training, beyond, of course, the basic preparation. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, I had a show here, with already prepared for next Sunday. For this Sunday. And I had to change everything. As I said, this is an emergency broadcast. I hope next Sunday we're going to all be here. I hope this storm and these hurricanes and all people in Texas, they're going to be somehow find some peace. I hope. But unfortunately, some of us will not make it. That's a fact. That's not even an option. The devastation that will go through the next few hours is going to be something that we have no idea because never really happened before. So we got to see what happens. Meanwhile, for all of us, or of us, could be, maybe not even me. I don't know. I'm not that arrogant. I have no idea. But for all the people who are going to make it, we better have a chance to understand the things we need to improve for our families, for our securities. And first thing, as I said, we need guns. But we need beyond guns. We need training, we need water, we need communication, we need shelter, we need food. And we need sort of a way to be able to see. Lighting, and also night vision. It's a must. Now, I'm going to give you a break. Because sometimes I feel like a crazy person talking to myself. I just hope at least I was able to give you some sort of, let's say, I don't know, food for thoughts. And many of you already know they know this stuff. I know that many of my listeners already are prepared. And that's fine, guys. You know, I'm not trying to preach to the choirs here. But I want to try to reach out people right now. For example, you know, like I had my first guest today, the first hour. Great lady. She's smart, by the way. She knows what's going on. But I was cringy when I heard, do you have any firearm? Oh, not really. And then after she said, oh, yeah, we have something called a Ruger. Probably don't even know if a handgun, rifle. The point is, come on. When you're smart, you know what's going on. You know that would be the first thing you should start to think right now. You know, after all, you don't live on a castle. Even if you were in a castle, they can breach the doors and the gates and the walls. But you live in a regular home. When people are going to be hungry and thirsty, they will knock that door, and they may just break that door. They may just break the windows and burn you alive if you don't get out and give them everything you want. That's the reality. So you better have a rifle. At least one. More than one. Little break, then we continue the hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. May God help us.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice. The Zanna way. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration. Chambered in 223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499. Made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Tread on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD, Don't Tread on Us, free ebook, How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt, Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30-round magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port, Don't Tread on Us, for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We are back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. This is the second hour, the hour about guns. As I said, this is a different broadcast. I had to rearrange the whole show because of what's happening right now in America and also, I believe, around the world. Because it's not just an accident. It is not just, we cannot just look at the individual things. We need to look at the big picture here. As I said, Houston, Texas, all that area, that's not just an accident. Then you have the same time you have the East Coast, Florida. That's not just an accident. And we have, today, North Korea going crazy and playing, crazy doctor, crazy scientist with nukes. That's not an accident. All we need now is it's an EMP or a false flag or anything that could be sort of World War III like, and bang. We're going to go in a place that we've never been there before. Martial law on steroids. Now, I pray not this is going to happen. I hate this. This is not a game. I don't feel good to even talk about these things. I hope I'm just wrong, and I hope we're all wrong when it comes down to this. I hope somehow going to be some sanity. We're going to avoid the worst, but we cannot sometimes control all these events, but we must prepare. Right now, we still have a chance. I hope we have more time. I hope you listen to my first part of this hour and trying to figure it out. Oh, I need to go shopping. I need some guns. I need ammunition. I need some gears. I need communications. I need water. I need food. I need shelter. I need even basic protection for my head. I need how to fix myself in case I have to. Government is not going to be there for you or for me when there is an emergency. They cannot save everybody. Government just can save itself. That's the only function of FEMA, is to protect the government. The rest is just part of the show because they are sucking billions and trillions out of us. But the real purpose of FEMA is to protect the government itself. And trust me, even if they wanted to help us all, they couldn't. Okay? So what can we do now? We gotta start to look for training. And I want to give you an opportunity. And it's free. You don't even need to pay a dime. There is no excuse. There is an event that I am creating in collaboration with Against All Enemies gun shop in Lake Havasu City. Patrick is the owner. And the event is called Free Gun Safety. Free gun safety, completely free. 100% free. And what I want to say that, because this is something that you must understand, you can have all the guns you want, okay? But if you do not know how to be safe with those, you're going to be a liability. You probably better not have them, because you may probably hurt yourself or hurt an innocent. That's a fact. So, I hope you can at least start to think how to learn how to be safe. And guess what? You have no excuses. We give you a 100% free class. And when I say free, I say many times also, this is not a hype. This is not government saying it's free when meanwhile they're stealing from somebody else. No, this is really free because it is called free market. There are sponsors involved. Against All Enemies is paying the bill for that. And this is very important. You should know. And when is this class? It's exactly September the 16th, Saturday, from 9 to 12 p.m. Okay? So, get this opportunity. Seriously, take this opportunity. I mean, there is no excuse. Please, contact Patrick, Against All Enemies, 2152 McCulloch Boulevard, North, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Phone number, 928-444-5778. 928-444-5778. It is the first step to become a responsible gun owner. And I make it easy for you. It's free. So please, get this opportunity. When I go through this class, by the way, we go through everything. It is not just like, a handgun. No, we go through shotguns. Every type of shotgun. Semi-automatic, pump action, rifle, bolt action, AR-15 platform, AK-47 platform. Doesn't matter. Then we go, of course, handguns. And more important, the general, universal rules of gun safety. And everything else between. Also the range. I also give you gun safety rules for the range. So this is very important. I would like really to have you there. It's limited seats, okay? We don't have unlimited seats. So please call. Call Against All Enemies. Think now all these people in Florida who have no guns, they maybe start to realize they wish they thought about buying a gun. And they could go back in time and say, you know what, not only I want to buy a gun, but also Zanna is offering me a free gun safety class. I would take it immediately. There is no excuse. Seriously. And then if you come and you already know this stuff, that's great. I hope so. I hope you know more than I do. I don't like to be the guy that knows the most because I want every law-abiding person out there to know what's going on. To be responsible gun owners. We need more responsible gun owners out there. That's the fact. That's the only way we're going to be able to save our society from evil. Now, a good thing about the Florida state, okay? It's a good thing, at least. The governor of Florida is signing an executive order that under this sort of natural disaster emergency, automatically law-abiding people can carry a gun without permit. That's really, really good. Congratulations. Governor of Florida, normally I'm not really crazy about him. There are things that, Governor Scott, I don't agree with. But now I'm focusing on these things. I think it's a very incredible thing. That was, by the way, signed in 2015. Governor Scott signed Florida Emergency's Concealed Carry Bill. It will now be legal for gun owners in the Sunshine State to temporarily carry concealed handguns without a permit during periods when the sun isn't shining so bright. Okay? Now the law is a measure to allow law-abiding citizens without concealed carry licenses to bear arms during declared mandatory evacuations. That's a must. Remember in Katrina, exactly the opposite. Louisiana, the governor, the mayor, they wanted all guns must be confiscated. Okay? Instead, he has, hey, if you're a law-abiding person, please carry and carry responsibly. You may be the person saving the day, saving an innocent, saving, eluding, from a rape, from a murder. So please, it's a great bill. I say we should have we don't need concealed carry permit period like in Arizona or Vermont or Alaska, but that's fine. It's a great start. So as hurricane season approaches, it's critical that our rights are protected during natural disasters, advised Senator Jeff Brains, Republican from Petersburg, in a statement. With the signing of SB 290, all lawful gun owners will be permitted to carry a concealed weapon if they are complying with the mandatory evacuation during a state of emergency. This is great. SB 290. So, know your rights. It's a right. You shouldn't be even needing this, but that's okay. At least you have much better chance in this state of Florida to carry a gun if you're a law-abiding person than other places, okay? Where only the bad people we allow to carry guns. Now, what can I say, guys? As you can hear, this show is going to be very different, at least not the typical format. Final hour, I have an incredible guest. Don't go away. He's a former military, 25-year-old in the Canadian Army. A lot of information and documents to make you think, really, what's happening with these natural disasters. Are they really natural? We'll find out. Meanwhile, I want to say something. I don't even know if today why I'm on the show. I have a lot of personal things to take care. I have, as I said, a family member is in Florida right now, exactly Miami. If I had a jet, if I have access to a private jet, I would just go and get him. Can't even get that. So I'm really concerned. Maybe I should just take care of myself. The problem now is I say I'm here because my goal is try to warn everybody I can about things that are happening. And that things may be too late, I don't know. But I think there is still hope. Till there is life, there is hope. And the hope we have now is at least the hope to learn from our mistakes or the things we didn't do when we had a chance. That's why I'm here. So don't take this opportunity for granted. We are here, Use this opportunity that I give you today, the learning experience. If you make it through these disasters and you didn't prepare yourself, start to have a change your attitude, start to think about like this now. Now, another important thing, please. I need your help. This show, takes a lot of my personal time. I could use this time right now to take care of myself, seriously. I have so many things. I don't want anything for myself. I just hope you can help me to keep this show going for the show itself. How can you do that? There are many ways you can. I don't even believe in advertisement anymore. You support, please, KTOX. If you're a local sponsor, I really hope you do. And more important, if you are, let's say, a consumer, support a sponsor for KTOX. My show is an independent show. And what I'm saying here now, I hope you can support this show directly going to www.zanna.us. Zanna.us. And why is important? You can do that with just 99 cents. Download any of my songs. Then you can find my coffee there. There is a link, Zanna Coffee, zannacoffee.com. Or attend any of my classes, CCW classes. Or buy my ebooks. Go on Amazon, put my name, Gianluca Zanna. The reason why I'm saying that, because if you want to keep this format completely free, I cannot go out there sometime to ask for sponsors when they don't like my topic. They may say, you know what, you're out of your mind. I don't want you to talk about this. How dare you even considering that chance or your public opinion, your personal opinion about the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. We can talk about here anything we want. I discuss sometimes myself. I doubt myself sometimes. So all I care is we say the truth. That's it. So all I'm saying now, you can make this show, you can keep this show being free. I need your help. www.zanna.us. You can download any of my songs for just 99 cents and everything else. Be ready for our number 3 special guest from Ontario, Canada. And all out there, my brothers and sisters in freedom, and anybody, even if you don't like me, even if I don't like you, I don't care. I consider you as a human beings. I hope you're safe. That's all I can say. I hope you're all safe. Your families are safe. You can take care of yourself. And may God, or the gods, depends whatever you believe, help us.
Awaken the warrior in you with Scotty. The new AR-15 rifle by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. I am Scotty. Norse goddess of winter, hunting, and just revenge. I am Scotty. I am chambered in 223 wild and can shoot 556 NATO and 223 Remington. My trigger is crisp and fast, an average of 4 pounds out of the box. Call me a fast girl. I can shoot over 5 rounds in 1 second. But I'm focused too. With only iron sights and no bench, I can hit 1 square inch at 25 yards. I bow down to no one. I am independent. I am fierce. I am a warrior. I am Scotty. The new AR-15 rifle by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Find me at www.ar15shop.us.
You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John luca-zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John luca-zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Do not forget, if you want to listen to the show on the internet, you can go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. The show is called Love, Guns and Freedom. You know, this is the final hour, the hour about love. As I said, love is a big word. You know, we can go from different things, from motherly love, you know, sexual love, spiritual love. Now, really, for me, the most important love we need to look at, it's love for humanity, love for our fellow humans. I don't care where you're from. You know, I'm an American, and I'm a proud nationalist. That's true. At the same time, I look at every other human being as my brother and sisters. I don't care where you're from. All I care that, you know, you share the same passion for freedom, the same passion for respecting each other. We're supposed to call each other brothers and sisters. Now, one thing we have in common, my opinion, we are all facing a very harsh reality and consequences of this reality. Somebody said, I forgot who he was or she was, you know, you can avoid, you know, reality, that's fine. You can put your head in the sand, that's fine, but you will not be able to avoid the consequences of reality. And that's where we are right now. You heard these days, you know, this show is being recorded, but meanwhile, this is the weekend of this incredible let's say, you know, natural disaster. I don't know. We will talk about that. But the point is what this country and the world in general, because this flood, these hurricanes, these tornadoes, and, you know, things are happening. It is not just happening right now in the Florida or, let's say, in the part of the, you know, East Coast. There are things happening also in other parts of the world. Like, they don't talk much, but India is under completely, you know, like almost then Nubrifage, I don't know the right word in English. Anyway, it's like a disaster, rain. People are dying by the thousands. So my point is, I want to articulate what's happening right now here to try to bring some awareness and knowledge on the technology, on the things that we have as a government, because, you know, it's supposed to be our government, right? So I say we, to even prevent or stop or mitigate such tragedies. And this is not anymore in the conspiracy realm. This is not some sort of a sci-fi real, you know, conspiracy theory. These are documents that everybody can pull out of the internet directly from the libraries of U.S. Congress patents. okay? And I wanted to have with me a fellow human that I really like him. I just found his Facebook page a few days ago, and I saw his live feeds. He's a guy who can articulate very simply, but very well, what we're talking here. And the fact that, as I said, you don't need to have a radio show, you don't need to have, a TV show, or a satellite antenna, or anything else. All you need to have now some guts, some little bit of patience, and more important, the desire to bring some awareness to our fellow humans. And why we're doing that? Because this is the only way we can fight back. If we do not get people aware what we are facing, then we're still pointing the finger in the wrong direction. We need to find out who is behind the scene, who is doing all that. Let me shut up. Let me bring my friend Juan Antonio Manzur from Canada. Juan, are you there?
Hi, Lucas. Yes, I'm here, Luca.
Very good, my friend.
Very good to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. Listen, first of all, you are which part from Canada? Give me more details, please.
I'm actually in Ontario, so north of Toronto. So about 1 hour north of Toronto, you'll find the Georgian Bay. You'll actually not far from Wasaga Beach, which is the longest freshwater beach in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I live about 20 minutes from there in a place called Barrie, Ontario.
Beautiful. Sounds beautiful. I like nature. Now, question. Every one of us has a background. It's something, and I always like to talk about that, because after all, it's important. We are today also the past results of our past experiences. The knowledge that you have today is also, let's say, a result of your life experience. So you had an interesting background. What did you do for a living, or what you've been doing for a living?
Actually, when I was 18, it was something that I was contemplating just by watching films like Platoon and Full Metal Jacket and these other Vietnam War films. It seemed like something that I wanted to do. So I actually joined the military, and I spent from 18 to I spent about 25 years in the military. I got out in 2014. So from 1988 to 2014, I wore the uniform in Canada.
Wow, that's kind of a long time. For normally, people, they do 4-8 years. You talk a good part of your life, adult life. And exactly where was Canadian Army, or what type of branch?
Yes, I was in the Canadian Armed Forces. I was a medic. I was also stationed with the infantry. So I started off as an infantry soldier, and I thought the medics would have it better. I was looking also for a better future when I got out. I didn't think that shooting guns after 25 years would get me a job or a career somewhere else. So I decided maybe medicine, maybe medic. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I did that proudly for 21 years as a medic, loved my job, and was absolutely patriotic to the Canadian values and integrity and honor, and representing Canadian values as an ambassador around the world.
That's great.
That's what I believe.
I love that, because as I said, I believe that every one of us who live in different countries should be proud of our own, let's say, background, and also, our own country. At the same time, we are each other facing as humans. We are facing the same problems, the same realities, But at the same time, we want to keep our sovereignty, because I really believe that's the way also we can preserve freedom. Because if we all become part of this global kumbaya world government, all we need is one tyrant. It's going to rule us all. Tomorrow, let's say things get bad in America. Hey, at least I hope Canada is still sovereign, or maybe another country is sovereign. So we have our own little different type of parts of the world. We also have different laws and different background, cultural and everything else. So I like that. Listen, I watched a video that I really was impressed the way you were able to simply articulate it. As I say, you don't need to be a scientist or have a PhD or something like that. But all you have to have a couple of eyes, a brain, and a tongue, and start to say, hey guys, what we are facing here as a humanity, all these, let's say, weather episodes or tragedies or events, can be also found that we have technology in different branches, also our U.S. government, I'm sure also other governments, but you pointed out some patents in the U.S. government. For example, the weather can be manipulated and can be controlled. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. When I first started waking up was around in the 90s. I had heard about something called Agenda 21. I believe it was 1996. I completely blew it off like it didn't exist. Although I did go on the internet, and we're talking 96 here, so I was very, very young in the internet. And I did find the document on the UN site, Agenda 21. Being young, I quickly dispersed it like it was nothing. And although I did see the document in front of me, so it could tell you how much programming I had been in. And when I say programming, is living in the world, believing the media, believing everything the government said, believing in the values in the Canadian forces, that we were actually doing our job for patriotism and for a just cause. So I quickly blew it off, and that was the first time I ever saw something that was tangible and right in front of me. Also, I also remember when in '91 when Father Bush had spoken about the New World Order, and he had an amazing speech. I'm sure you heard about it, Luca, right?
Oh yes.
Everybody has, and that ties in directly with Agenda 21. Like it goes hand in hand with that agenda. And although I couldn't at the time put it together, now what's been happening lately, as of late, was. Okay, so I retired from the forces in 2014. I woke up officially in 2008 was when I realized what was going on. It took me that many years to get out of the forces because I know there's something huge coming, and I don't know if we want to elaborate on that later, but there's something really, really huge coming.
Yes, so we can talk about everything you want. Yes, please, let's do that too.
Yeah, so I got in 2014, and I tried to hide this from myself, like it's not happening, because it really, if you really think about it, Luca, and I'm sure you'll agree, to step out of this reality that we've always lived in, it's very uncomfortable, and it sets us out as a target because everybody else looks at us with their understanding of what's going on, and we're pointed fingers at and called conspiracy theorists. So we've been programmed to kind of disengage with people that think differently, so there's a bunch of that going on. So I fell into the common sheep mentality that I'm just going to lay low and let things happen, and I kind of forgot about it for a while until things changed this year. I noticed as I was going out on my balcony, I was going out for runs. I like to jog. That constantly being rained on, and these incredible weather patterns that were just insane. Raining every second or third day, raining sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, raining sometimes 2 days straight, just didn't stop. So I looked at my wife, and knowing what I knew, I thought there's something going on here. So I spoke to my wife. She agrees. She agreed completely.
Yeah.
So at this point, I decided I'm going to go back online and check out this Agenda 21 thing. Well, I found out it's been called Agenda 2030. It's been in effect since 2015. So for all the listeners out there, you can actually go on the UN site, type in Agenda 2030, which is the new agenda. I have it right here. So I printed it off. I like to print things off because if it's on the screen, sometimes it just tires my eyes out, and I might not go through all the paperwork. But when I have paperwork in my hands, it's tangible. It's something that I can see. I can flip through it. I can take it as a toilet reading. I can bring it in the bathroom if I want,
Yes.
And then read it there. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Luca?
And also tomorrow the internet may go down and may computer, we have no electricity, we still have documents. We always need to have paper backup. I agree completely. Go ahead.
Exactly. So I'm looking at this Agenda 2030, and it just sounds so beautiful, It's all about this amazing world where they eliminate poverty, they eliminate hunger, they're all working for the common cause. Every single country in the world is signed into this. It's actually been signed by the President of the General Assembly of the United Nations, called Sam K. Kutesa. So it's an official document. If your country belongs to the United Nations, you're on this document. So the question I had was, how do we get to this beautiful, wonderful world where they eliminated, poverty and everyone's on the same level? Like, they want to put women on the forefront. So, of course, this feminist movement is awesome. It, put women at an equal strength as men. So that's awesome. But when it becomes a government-pushed agenda, there's something behind it. There's a reason behind it. We've got to ask ourselves questions.
Yeah.
Why are they getting involved in these kind of issues when we got so many other world issues, such as our declining economy, which is so much more important? But we got this feminist movement, I'm sorry if I don't want to offend anybody, okay? This LGBTQT agenda that's been being pushed by the government all of a sudden. Here's another one, the cannabis agenda. This cannabis, all of a sudden we're going to legalize cannabis. So there's something going on here, right? So anyways, let's get back to 2030, this Agenda 2030. they don't tell you how we're going to get there. See, that's the thing that we don't realize at the beginning. Most awakened people can kind of put those pieces of the puzzle together and come up with a good understanding. But the reason that they're not doing that is because there's going to be a lot of cleaning house. There's going to be a lot of cleaning house to get there. To eliminate poverty, you got to get rid of poverty, and I'm talking about everyone that's impoverished. So by eliminating world poverty, if you look at Africa, how would you eliminate poverty in Africa when you're looking like a nation like Ethiopia or Nigeria, which is completely, into zero? Like, I mean, even then some. They are so economically destroyed. How do you eliminate poverty there? And here's the kicker. It's about depopulation. I hope I haven't turned anybody away from this, and some people are turning off the radio right now.
No, we talk about this. We talk about this, and honestly, at this point, if people want to turn the radio off and play football, whatever, it's your business. Honestly, guys, I feel sorry for your sons and daughters. Nothing I can do. Keep doing it. Go ahead, please, Juan.
Yeah, it's what it explains here. It's a Marxist agenda. This is a completely socialist. Completely socialist document I have in here.
Yes.
See, our world is going into a socialist state. We are. There's other documents. I mean, if you look online, you'll see that China and the BRIC and Russia are getting together, and there's something called the BRIC, and they're putting the yuan. So the yuan is being put on the forefront. It's gold backed. It's backed by gold. If you dig even further, you'll see that their banking system is directly tied into ours. And I'm talking, when I say ours, we are an international banking system. If you believe your banking system is separate from everything else, look into free trade. You'll quickly find that your economy depends on everybody else also. So one goes down, they all go down. Here's the other thing, is that our economy is based on fiat currency, which is basically paper currency. If you look historically, you look online, see, all we have to do is do a historical search. And this is not a conspiracy, guys. This is actually going online and finding things that are tangible. So every fiat currency in the world has historically been, every nation that's been built on fiat currency has gone out. They don't exist anymore. One of the most famous one being the Roman Empire, actually completely destroyed using fiat currency. And there's other ones probably more current I don't know of. But if you look at any nation that's been built on fiat currency has historically been demolished. Now, we kind of stayed on par with everybody else because our currency was gold backed until about 1970-71 when Nixon took it off, and every other country followed. We now have paper, which buys our life, which basically gets us our needs. So if you would, logically, guys, if you look at that historical pattern, then you look at our debt right now, this amazing amount of printing that our nations have done without anything backing our paper money. And when I say that without anything, some of you might say, well, you know what, Juan, oil backs up our dollar. Yeah, well, maybe in the States, and if we really look at the cost of the barrel of oil, it's probably down to $35 from $150 US to $35. So you're looking at an 80% reduction in your dollar. So if you're looking at your dollar and it's worth $1, in the markets, it's actually worth about 20 cents. So the stock market's probably being manipulated. So that's the kind of guy I am. So I'm looking at this tangible evidence and filling in the gaps. And so the other thing is, let's go back to the weather, Luca. So I'm looking at this weather, and I'm looking at this Agenda 2030, and I'm looking at what this, what President Bush said back in the day about the New World Order.
Yes. And
I'm looking at about when we say New World Order, a lot of people get turned off, they walk away. Let's talk about a one world government, right? So that's probably more accepted these days, is these terminology for one world government. Now, if we say chemtrails, people get turned off. But if we say geoengineering, weather modification, people are on par, which is exactly the same thing. If you say overweight and fat, whichever way offends you, it's the same thing.
Yes.
You get it? It's the same thing. So the people running the world, they know this. So they bring out a word and then they criticize you and they call you a conspiracy theorist because you're using the exact same words they did. It's very narcissistic, isn't it?
Yes.
It's very, anyways, I'm not going to go there, but it's very narcissistic. So I decided I'm going to go online and I'm going to look for these. I'm going to look for what's going on with our weather patterns. And I found out something. Here it is. So I found out there's a global affairs treaty. So there's a Global Affairs Canada has a treaty called, here I'm going to say it to you so you can go online and check it out.
Yes.
It's Echo 10. When I say Echo, it's E. So Echo 103819. So Echo 103819. And this was actually signed in, hold on a second here, I'm looking at this treaty, in 1975. Pretty cool, eh? So 1975, they were already talking about an agreement between Canada and the United States of America relating to the exchange of information on weather modification activities.
Wow.
So here it is, 1975, right?
Wow.
So as far back as then, yeah, Luca, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You can't deny this. I mean, you can't deny this. This is available to all. You can go online and see. It is the government of Canada, the government of the United States of America, that are aware because of their geographic proximity that the effects of weather modification activities carried out by either party or its nationals may affect the territory of the other. So that goes on and on explaining how they're going to exchange information. So if there wasn't any weather modification planned out, they would not have made this treaty. Right, Luca? They wouldn't have made a treaty, right?
Well, I'm here on the page. It's amazing. treaty.accord.gc.ca. Bottom line, it's is freaking in plain view. Just amazing. I'm going to put it right now on my Facebook. Continue, please. Continue. Wow.
And here's another one. So as I'm going along down, people call this a rabbit hole, call it whatever you may. I just like to dig in information. I'm that kind of guy. So
yes.
I found here a beautiful document. You can actually go and I'll forward it to you, actually, Luca. I'll forward it to you. So if anybody wants this document, you can pull it out. You can actually I'll forward it to you. But you can actually go online and find it and type in weather modification programs, problems, policy, and potential. And this is prepared at the request of Honorable Howard W. Cannon, the chairman of the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the United States Senate. So it's about weather modification, and this was made in May 1978. I have the official document here. How do I get the official document? Just go online and print it off. It's the Freedoms of Information Act. After a few years, this is put out online. It's available to all. You can go there and actually read it. Most people don't. Yeah. So most people are going to sit down on their laurels and listen to the media. Who are, by the way, you can't deny, media is corporately owned. Okay, guys, it really is corporately owned. And the information from NBC, ABC, CBC, CBS, every single station is holding the same information that they're pumping at you every time. They're just throwing you the same information. What you got to do is turn it off and go check for yourselves. And this is what I did. So 1978. This weather modification programs, problems, policy, and potential document came out. So there's more. I mean, I'm looking at all this. I'm saying maybe there was evidence and there was some talk about Katrina not being a normal hurricane, one of the most destructive in the States in 2005. Actually, it was also a point where the government was actually involved directly in doing house-to-house clearance on their own citizens. And if you don't believe that the government can do that, please go look at the newsreels. I mean, they're pulling out a lady from her own home who doesn't want to leave her house, who's exercising her rights, her constitutional rights, and she's completely being stepped on by and carried out like forcibly. This lady's probably 60 or 70 years old, and she's forcibly being carried out of her home.
Wow.
And yes, forcibly. And so, anyways, I mean that's the kind of world we live in. Completely crazy. Why do I say that? Well, as I'm going through this stuff, I find here, and we're gonna go back as to why they're doing this. By the way, Luca.
Yes.
Here we got. I'm gonna throw you a patent because when we invent, when anybody invents something, like Luca invents a new radio for his radio station, he's gonna put a patent on it.
Yes.
Right? He doesn't want anybody else to go out and use it. So the government's the same thing. They want to keep the patent. They want to control something. They're going to make a patent. So here it is. Hold on a second. Here it is. The document is called the Stratospheric Wellsbach. So Wellsbach is WELSBACH. So the Stratospheric Wellsbach Seeding for Reduction of Global Warming. And it is a patent US 5003186 alpha. So A. And it's actually about the reduction of global warming. What's really interesting is that this document came out in April of 23rd, 1990. So that was, 1991. The filing date was 1990. Officially, publication date was 91. So as far back as 91, they were already talking about reduction of global warming. Now, I remember 91, Luca, so do you.
Yes.
There was no talk about global warming.
No.
Right?
There was talking about global cooling.
Go ahead.
I remember that they were fearing about the global cooling at the time. At least there was a point that they were worried about the glaze and everything was going to be too cold. I mean, at least when I was in Italy, they were talking about global cooling. That's what I remember.
Exactly. And I mean, back then, was there cooling? Was there warming? Was there something going on? Really not. I remember 91. It was beautiful. I'd go outside. That was the first year I actually joined the regular forces. I was in the reserves. I joined 91. I transferred into the regular services in the forces. Beautiful skies. I remember that summer was the most amazing summer in my life. Still today, till today, was one of the most amazing summers of my life. So I'm reading this document. I'm going, I don't remember any global warming back then.
No.
So anyway, so that's the document for you. And then obviously, if they have a patent for that, they must have patents for anything else, right? So here I am. I'm going again. And I find a patent for a hurricane and tornado control device. Hold on one second. Sorry, as I'm speaking, I have just a dry throat here, so I should get water, but it's okay. Let's go on.
Go weather 1 second water. I want to say something. First of all, if you're tuning in right now, you know, I have my guest is a gentleman from Ontario, Canada. He spent 25 years in the armed force. And we are articulating, by the way, facts, documents, and information and patents and science of technology that prove that there is really, in my opinion, not even an opinion, it's a conspiracy against humanity. And the point is, you may believe this or not, the point is there is technology out there, they can control the weather as a weapon. And that doesn't happen today. Now, my friend, my guest is Juan Antonio Manzur from Ontario, Canada. And it's not just, you know, as I said, you don't even need to be anything special. All you need to do is be able to read. We're talking about documents, official treaties, official U.S. patents. And why I'm bringing this? Because if we do not find out exactly why all this is happening right now, and it's all connected, as you said, you know, also in one of your videos, we cannot just see an individual fact. You know, we cannot just see one angle. For example, okay, the weather is terrible. They're manipulating the weather. We need to connect this with everything else. The dollar, for example, is official news that the Rothschild Bank, probably the number one bank in the world, private bank, who controls all the other private banks, they are called Federal Reserve, like, for example, here, they're all privates. But what happened? This huge number one banker in the world is dumping the dollar. And all this at the same time where we start to see that America is pretty much being completely under attack. You have fires, you have water, you have hurricanes. And now we also have the fear of a potential, you know, EMP or nuclear attack from North Korea. So that is something that they know. We need to look at the big 360-degree picture to see exactly all this comes back to the general master plan, Agenda 2030, the creation of a new global government where there is no more poverty. You know why? Because probably all the poor people, they've been killed. That's why. Keep going, please, Juan.
No, exactly. I completely agree. Here's a parallel that I drew out. If a farmer has a cow, a milking cow, and the cow's too old to give milk, the farmer has two choices. One, I let the cow go in the pasture, and he lives the rest of his days as a happy cow, and one day he will naturally die. Or two, which would cost me money, by the way, to support that cow. It's going to cost me money from my pocket. So that cow's not giving me milk. I'm not making money off that cow anymore. Mm-hmm. But in a corporate-driven world, that cow is killed and actually probably made fertilizer food, I don't know, food for dogs and cats or hot dogs or whatever that is. They make that, but they kill the cow. That's the thing, is that till the end, they'll draw profit from it and they will kill it. So here's the parallel. We are living in a fiat currency world where our dollar is not backed by anything other than a machine, a war machine. So we're talking about the United States of America, who literally builds its empire, its economic empire by taking resources around the world, by installing, by attacking anywhere where they're not installed. So wherever you mentioned the bank before. So wherever there's not a Rothschild bank, let's go get them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take them down. Let's install a bank. Let's control their economy. Let's put a government in place, and that way we can keep the war machine going. Here's the kicker, is that if we look, there's only 3 countries right now that are not dominated by the Rothschild currency. And we're looking at Syria, Iran, and North Korea. So obviously, you get the picture. The enemies are there. They're the ones that we got to get, whatever. But listen to this. We have been run. Now they say there's a few $1 trillion in debt. That's only the counted debt. If we look at, we talked about economically tied free trade system. So we're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt, and that's worldwide.
Yes.
So our children, your children, Luca, my child who's 18, her children and her children and their children would not be able to pay off this debt.
Yes.
So when you have a system that's built on making money from milk, but now your cow is not giving you any more, and you're at the point where you only have 3 countries where you can install your bank, and you know that even if you do, that would not be enough to give you that edge, that profit that you're looking for in a corporate-driven world, which we are in. You know that it's time to kill the cow. And this is where we're at right now. This is why we have what we have right now. This is why the banks are running towards 2 things. One, they're running towards cryptocurrency. Ethereum is a great place to go. Bitcoin is awesome. It's a little bit too priced right now. I'd go with Ethereum. Look at the stocks, they're increasing. Another thing I was looking at yesterday is actually investing in gold. Gold tends to actually keep its value, and actually when fiat currency goes out, gold is actually increased tenfold, because everybody's running to it. They want it. At this point, if your paper's worth nothing, you're looking for something that's worth something.
Yes.
So if you're looking for something, guys, I'd say, invest in some gold, invest in some, because we're looking at, we're already in an economic depression. We're looking at more than a recession. We're looking at a total collapse of the world system.
Let me tell you something, Juan. What I believe here it's happening, in my opinion, they've been, let's say, holding the empty body, because after all, we have economy based on fiat, as you said, on nothing, on paper, okay? Differently from when we used to be backed by gold or silver. Now it's all pretty much an illusion. And let me just, I always talk about this also on the show. When we have an organization, a private organization in this country, like in many other countries, like for example, even in Italy, you think that the Banca d'Italia, the Italian bank, the general bank, like the Federal Reserve in America, you think they are really part of the government? Guess what? Grow up, because that's not even close. The Federal Reserve is a private cartel of private bankers. Now, same story in Italy, same story in every European country that we know. So the point is, everywhere, when we have given that type of, let's say, almost unlimited power to create money out of thin air, backed by nothing, but we need to pay that dollar or that money back with the interest, just the interest to pay it back. We need to create what is called income tax. And I remind for the American people here, for our friends in America, that we did not have income tax since 1913, or at least a few years after the creation of the private Federal Reserve. So all this is being propped by a system based on debt. And I don't care how much we want to save, we're always going to be $1 behind. Because we used to be able, as government, as sovereign government, to print our own money, currency, and we didn't need to go in debt with a bank, a cartel of bankers. So the point is, this system is unsustainable. But I believe now at this point, it's not even anymore about that we cost them too much or we don't produce too much. These people don't need money. They have more money they can even spend, and they make money out of thin air anyway already. What I really believe in their crazy mind, we may believe or not the way they do, but they do. At that point, they act like some sort of a semi-gods among us, the cattle, and they decide who's going to live and who's going to be dead. And they decide that the population must be reduced. If you people don't believe me, go to look at Georgia Guidestones, and you see that from 7 billion people that we are, they want about 500 million people left. Mostly going to be slaves on fluoride. That's pretty much my humble opinion, because at that point they realize that when humanity start waking up, I guess what? We may be ants, but we are trillions of ants, and there are an handful of assholes out there, excuse me the French, to the point they may start to feel a little bit intimidated that the little guys, the little human beings that we are, we may start to have some knowledge and maybe take action and start to say, you know what, we don't need your freaking private cartel bank system, and we are not in debt because all this was a fraud anyway. You got the floor.
Oh, exactly. I completely agree with everything you're saying, Luca. Everything. And what's amazing is that you're in Arizona, right?
Yes.
I'm here in Barrie, Ontario. I've been speaking to someone from New Jersey. I spoke to somebody today from New Jersey, somebody yesterday from Ohio. The day before, people are just reaching out because of that video I made, and we're all coming to very similar conclusions. Now, I want to come let's go back to that milker cow.
Mm-hmm.
See, at this point, we have, and it's good that you spoke about the value of the money, because I spoke about a $35 barrel right now, and here's the actual fact. This is a fact. You guys can go and search this yourself. This is an absolute fact. Our paper money is not worth nothing. It's worth absolutely nothing. It is worth zero. It is not backed by anything. We are so much in debt. And realize this, guys. If you have 3 credit cards in your home and you are that much in debt that you need another credit card to cover the first 3 credit cards,
yeah,
you got no value. You got absolutely no value. Now we're looking at the states going to raise the ceiling on the 29th of September.
Yeah,
they're already in debt, guys. They're looking for another credit card to cover the other credit.
Yeah.
So we know by looking at that, and logically, our money is manipulated. It's propped up. It is not backed by anything. It is worthless. Your paper has as much worth as toilet paper. The only reason that it has value in your eyes is because when you give it to somebody, they will give you something in exchange. So it is a system of exchange. But now, in this matrix, the illusion that it has value is so ingrained in our minds that if we even fathom that it doesn't, it's hard. It's really difficult for us to fathom that doesn't have any value. But in actual fact, it doesn't. This is the truth. It doesn't. So what do I do as a farmer with a milker cow? Do I give money from my own pocket to support that cow? Because that's where we're at. We're at the point where the corporations and the world governments are basically giving us things for free. So they're because they know that the money that's been printed, that they printed, is worth nothing. So what do you do? Like, do you confront the cow and tell them, I'm going to kill you? Like, obviously we're very intelligent, more intelligent than a cow. So what does a human race do if they're confronted by an entity that is ready to get rid of them, like the farmer with the cow? We're way more intelligent. We're going to fight back.
You know, sometimes one thing I disagree a little bit. I wish everybody was smarter than a cow. Unfortunately, we have some part of humanity, and I'm not trying to bring down humans, but it's true, they are worse than cows. Because at least I think cows, they have a little bit more of sense of survival. When they see the butcher coming close, they start to say, oh my gosh, they start to get panic. We see here people really, they're completely clueless, still they can completely get chambered. You know, I'm trying to be sarcastic, but not really. I mean, there is a part of humanity that is dumb. Otherwise, we would not let this happen, all this. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I agree completely, Luca. I completely agree. There's some people walking out there, they're living in their bubble. But sometimes it's even programming. Television is more important. We've just been so ingrained in this, we've been hypnotized in this world where we live this 40, 60, 80, 100-hour work week. It becomes our norm. People call this like a rat race, you know, so you're in this rat race.
Yeah.
And if you got so many personal issues going on, some people say that they are one paycheck short of going bankrupt. You know, when you're waiting and you have a week to go before you get that paycheck, you're borrowing money from somewhere.
That's true.
And when you get that money, you're paying me back. You're basically running debt against debt. It's just, there's no staying ahead. So if some guy like me or Luca comes along and tap you on the shoulder and say, by the way, do you know that our governments want to eliminate 95% of the population?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Some of them are like, what?
Yeah.
Whoa, it's just unfathomable.
Yeah.
You know, it's even for myself at the beginning. You know?
I understand. Also,
Like,
they put us in the situation of right now, when you're so desperate and so in completely survival mode, barely people now, or they can pay their rent or they can eat almost, okay? So there is almost no more even energy left to even understand the big picture. Because your immediate, let's say, goal is to survive the week. Can I pay for food for this week? And this has been by design. Remember, I'm not saying that we always had it perfect, because never has been perfect. Humanity has always been a struggle between good and evil, and of course freedom and tyranny. But if you look at this, for sure, what used to be the typical middle class for the North American, and not just the United States, also Canada, I mean, look at the 50s, 60s even, when our countries, Canada and the U.S., used to be able to produce and manufacture and do not anymore rely on the import from China, all this, what they call free trade. You used to have the typical blue-collar working man that was able to bring enough money home to take care of everybody. The wife could have been home taking care of kids. You have your little house, and you have your little Canadian dream or American dream, whatever you want to call it, and you were living decently. And you had time also to be, politically involved and educated. Right now, instead, rather than going better, we're going worse. I mean, we have now mom and dad working 2 jobs, and you're still broke. That's where the globalists wanted to bring us down. So we have no more even time to fight back or to learn. Go ahead.
Exactly. I completely agree, Lucas. Again, Luca, let's go back to the 60s. Let's go back to minimum wage. Why was minimum wage even invented? Why would they give a minimum wage out to the masses? Well, originally this minimum wage was the bare minimum you needed to get by, and we're talking about so dollars per hour. So whatever those dollars per hour were, let's say $3 an hour, $2 an hour was the minimum. I have no idea. But with that money, with the father going out and working, he could have 2 or 3 kids at home, his wife, his car, his house, and go to a minimum wage job and be able to support all that and a 2-week vacation a year.
Yeah.
Where would you get that today?
No, but you know what I also believe? It's not even about the government giving us minimum wage, because I don't believe in government mandating anything. I believe that when was the free market, realizing that you needed to have a skilled worker, the free market would have guaranteed that we could have decent wages. That's the way, we used to have decent wages, because there was, not enough, of course, offer on the labor, and everybody, was able to get that type of work would have been great, because we used to still produce in America. We didn't need to go in Chinese countries like, some slave labor camps like China to import the stuff that we cannot compete. So it was about, just keeping things in perspective, that even government, we don't need their minimum wages. We needed to have government that protecting our sovereignty. That's all we needed. But let's go back 1 second now, because the focus here this week, what's happening, is something that I really believe it didn't happen, honestly, probably in hundreds of years, especially in the East Coast and down in Florida, and of course in the part of the Caribbean. I mean, right now we're recording the show, okay? It is not happened yet, but Saturday and Sunday it's happening, and it's also close to 9/11, by the way, another coincidence. The damage of a class 5, disaster like that, or even for category 4, this type of hurricanes, is something that it is devastating. They compare it like almost to a bomb, okay, nuclear bomb in some parts. Or now you tell me, and you've been also a man who served in the armed force. And by the way, I want to be sure this. I don't want to, people can think whatever they want, but when we go after and we talk about this war for profits, okay, and I'm speaking for myself, my guest is speaking for himself. We are talking about here probably something people want to forget. We are not a bunch of hippies here. One of the first military men, one of the most decorated military men who exposed this military industrial complex before even General Eisenhower was Major General Smedley Butler. He wrote the book, War is a Racket. This is one of the most decorated U.S. Marine generals in the history of the Corps. And I want to be sure this guy wasn't a hippie. Okay? We are not here trying to bash our armed force or bash our countries. We are here to bring truth. Because if you want really to defend our soldiers, they're supposed to do their job. Their job is to defend our countries. Do not work as a bunch of mercs for some private bankers. And I didn't say that. I'm just paraphrasing what this man, this Major General Medley Bartlett, I invite every pro-war person out there to read. A man who really saw the blood, a man who really killed, a man that really had on his hands the blood of many of his soldiers. He took the time and the energy and also the courage to write this book. So before you start to, it must be, you guys, you must be a bunch of haters. You must be left wings. We are no left, no right. We are the truth wing. At least I speak for myself. All we look at this. So I want to be sure because also you gave 25 years of your time serving for your country, or at least what you think was the interest for your country. Maybe you woke up one day and say, maybe I'm doing now. I'm serving the New World Order. That's why when I came to America in 1998, I was ready to join the army, even I was too late for the Marine. But then I started to learn about global government, and I started to learn about Private Michael Newt, that he was court-martialed because he didn't want to put a United Nations patch going to Serbia or whatever, Yugoslavia at the time. And I said, no, I'm not going to be a New World Order, United Nations puppets. That's why. But the point is, we love our country, we love our sovereignty, and we want to expose the military-industrial complex. That's why we're here. Go ahead, Juan. Am I speaking for you when I say that? I mean, I say the same stuff.
I see that. There's interesting, you said left wing, right wing. Notice how anybody we vote in, and be honest, guys, anybody you vote in, they always manipulate. They always lie. I mean, how many of them have actually kept their promises? And when they're in office and you go back to your 40, 50, 60-hour work weeks, how many of us have the tendency to go back and actually check on the person that we voted for?
Yeah.
How many of us actually raise our hands in protest when they don't keep up with that promise? We tend to just kind of accept it, and actually we accept it as a society. We accept that our government, our politics, are liars. So that's the thing this thing has been drilled into our minds. So the government with this kind of deception tends to overstep its boundaries and do things that they're not supposed to do, which is exactly what they're doing now. They're encroaching on our rights. In the States, it's the Constitution of the United States. Here, it's the Charter of Rights, the Bill of Rights, and they are encroaching into this, and we can go further and further, Luca. It doesn't stop. This hole, it just goes on and on and on. But let's get back to the weather. Why would they use the weather as a weapon?
Before we go there, why don't you use the weather? They control the weather at least to mitigate it. Let's say as much reasonable as we can. I believe that they are controlling it to devastate it, to create the cause reaction solution problem. But let's say, put it this way, we know for sure there are documents out there directly from the U.S. Air Force, and people can Google it. We control the weather, and there is directly from the U.S. Air Force website, .mil. They show that they have the technology to control weather as weapon. Now, we know for sure that they can control the weather also for agriculture and every other things. Now, why cannot use this technology to at least mitigate or let's say slow down this sort of natural disasters, like, for example, the latest one, Irma, or whatever it's happening right now on the East Coast? Why? I mean, let's start with that. We have the technology. Why do you think it's happening?
That's actually, I came across an article yesterday, and I like I said, I love to read things. And I came across an article yesterday. A man in the know, a very savvy guy, and obviously we're seeing how much does this disaster cost. I think just on one end of Texas, one governor, among other people in Texas, is asking for just $150 billion, and that's just the start point. And somebody else, I believe, asked for $90 billion, and we're just talking about just the start point, just a few days after this disaster. So there's no telling how much more. Notice how they come up with $150 billion. It could probably cost $500 billion. So where's the government getting all this money from? Like, what kind of backing do you have? So when you have a country that's completely demolished and you want to bring them down to their knees, economically is one way you're going to do it, by economics. You bring it in. And you bring them down by I mean, they're going to have to spend a lot of money to bring those cities back up. Here's the other thing. I know for a fact that there's not enough money right now in the world to take us out of debt right now. And we're talking fiat currency. There isn't. There's just not. So what they're doing is they're bringing our nations down to its knees. It's what they're doing. They're going to do it again. They're doing it right now with Hurricane Irma. There's another one behind it again, growing in intensity again. So I believe it's purely for economic reasons. Now, once you take down the strongest war machine in the world, which is really the United States of America, the strongest war machine in the world, it would be easier now. And I read another document. So here's two documents that tie into each other. Is that the BRIC, and we said this before, is actually getting the yuan backed by gold. So they're going to buy oil for gold. And here's the other kicker, is that the Rothschilds banks are getting rid of American debt. So is China, and so is Russia. They're dumping their own debt. So we have the Rothschilds that are dumping the debt, which they did. They took off from the States. They're actually gone. They went back to Europe. They wrote a letter explaining why, which is all BS, by the way. Yeah. They dumped the debt. So they dumped their own U.S. dollars. China's dumping their own U.S. dollars. We have Russia dumping their own U.S. dollars. And now countless other nations dumping the U.S. dollar. What does that do? Nobody, that leaves another country in the position to take power. When you have a country that's being diminished, obviously, if I follow stocks, now listen guys, if I'm a stock market investor and I invest in a stock that's going down, I will take my money out of that stock and I'm going to put it somewhere else where I see growth because I'm looking for profit. So obviously these guys are looking for profit. And what are they doing right now? One, they're buying gold. They're buying tons of gold, right?
Yeah.
Two, they're transferring powers to the yuan. They're giving the yuan, it's going to be a gold-backed currency, a brand new gold-backed currency. With the yuan, we already know it's there. It's going to be gold-backed. It's certain, guys. Check this out. Go online, check it. And they're going to be buying oil with that gold-backed currency. Now, will the Americans be able, or will Canada be able, and I answer this, to buy oil with paper money when we don't have any more gold in our vaults?
Yeah.
We don't. Canada doesn't have any more gold in its vaults. Yeah. So that leaves us to nothing, to completely lose our
empty
economy.
Shell. We're an empty shell. And I think really, well, my opinion, of course, this was a long process of cooking us slowly. And now, finally, they will, I really believe it's happening now for many reasons. You know, as I say, I'm not a Trumpy. I think everybody is not perfect, but I believe that Trump somehow, it seems like seriously, is being damaging or slowing down the global agenda. So I really believe they need to pull now the rag, and I believe they're using him as, you know, like when you have the game, you know, in Italy we used to have a game like you had 3 chairs and 4 dancers. Bottom line, one is going to stay without a chair, or is going to stand completely stuck. And I think they will use Trump as the person to blame on everything. They're already doing it anyway. So exactly. So I really believe, this is serious. And now I'm saying, this is, for me now at this point, what do we do? Because, we are regular people. First of all, I always say we need to understand what's going on. Because if we just point the fingers at one thing, not seeing who is behind, we are wasting time. But once we have this sort of a basic knowledge, or at least part of it, because we're never going to know everything for sure, at that point, we got to create our own microcosm in our own reality, because we may not save the world, but maybe we can try to give some dignity and quality of life, even in a moment of complete distress for ourselves and our families. And then, of course, from there, you can build a better community. That's what we can do, because the government is not going to help us. That's a fact. So we better start to realize this. What's happening right now is something that maybe we may not be changing. Things are already in motion. But let's start to have a plan how we can, let's say, prepare for what we can. For example, I have a brother right now. He's in Florida, okay? And I don't want to go into personal details. The point is, a good guy, but guess what? The last few years, I was trying to warn him. Prepare. Have a plan. Buy a purification water system. Have, extra gasoline saved there. Especially when you live in Florida, you're stuck like a sardine. It's like like an island almost, okay? Have some basics. Buy a firearm. Train. Talking to a wall, it's better. Okay, seriously, because everything is okay. After all, I can go to Starbucks and get my coffee in the morning. Seriously. Now, today, unfortunately, reality is changing. And I hope I was wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope this is not going to be as bad. But things what's happening right now is just a better sample, in my opinion, what could happen in bigger scale. Listen, I want to give you, Juan, the floor to almost close, because we're almost at the end. This is amazing. We went through an hour so fast. I want to give you the floor. Whatever you want to close, you have 2 minutes, Juan.
Okay, well, let's look at this. You have a hurricane and tornado control device, so patent number US 20030085296 Alpha 1. Look at it. So it's a tornado control device.
Wow.
And this was actually patented in 2001. So they've had this device since 2001, guys. When you patent something, it's because you got it. Here's another one.
Wow.
The method for controlling hurricanes, which is the patent number US 20100072297 Alpha 1. Here it is. The method. They're patented the method. This is in 2010. 2008, 2009, 2010. So they patented this thing. They knew they were going to, the method is patented. So obviously they can control the device. There's other patents, guys, and here's another one. In 2009, 2010, again, the House of Commons Science and Technology Committee came out with the regulation of geoengineering report. So the regulation of it, and you have the U.S., you have Canada, you have Australia participating in this. So obviously they are doing geoengineering. It is a real thing, guys. Weather modification is real. So look at those patents and ask yourselves, would they really come out with those if they couldn't do it? And I sincerely believe that right now, 100%, they are actually doing it, guys. They are controlling our weather. Look at the skies and ask yourselves, are those clouds normal? Is it normal that an airplane would leave a trail that does not go away, by the way? It stays there, does not disperse like a condensation trail. It actually stays there. It becomes what most people think is a cirrus cloud, and then it comes and develops into all these freaky clouds that we see up in the sky. I mean, one guy was talking about a green sky, another guy was talking about a red sky.
Yeah.
The sky's not normal, color's not normal. It looks white to me. They're doing things at an accelerated rate. Here's another one. June, July of this year, we went into something called Operation Solar Shield. So this is Operation Solar Shield. Go and Google this, guys. Read up on this. And here's another one. Operation Black Skies. So Operation Black Skies is coming into effect on the 21st of this month. And that's straight from Harvard University. So black skies is really they wanna blacken the sky. What they want to do is they want to eliminate the sunshine on the earth, and that would be absolutely devastating.
I mean, this is almost
devastating.
You remember the movie The Road? I forgot with the actor. Is an actor that used to do The Lord of the Rings. The Road. Exactly. There is no more sky. There is no life. People eating each other. I mean, seriously, guys. This stuff these documents that you're bringing up, they are not just somebody you write in the middle of the night when you're getting drunk. This stuff, they are from official documents. I invite and challenge everybody to Google and print it out. And print them out, because internet can be erased and rewritten tomorrow morning. Print them out.
Exactly.
Juan.
We are more powerful. We're more powerful than what they think.
Yes. Listen. I need to let you go. We are at the end for now, but I want to beg you again, please be in touch with me. I really appreciate you as a friend, as a human being, and also as a Canadian friend. I really do. Listen, be in touch. Don't go away. Stay 1 second there. Listening, guys. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. As you can see from the type of conversation and topics I bring on the show. This is not exactly your regular commercial, show that we say what we've been told to say. No. We have complete freedom of speech. I challenge everything. I challenge myself on this show. Okay? There is no dogma. The only dogma is the truth. Now, we can do this because we have your help. I need your help. Okay? I can go around and start to beg for sponsors when we talk about stuff like that. Please support us, support KTOX, and also support directly my work. Go to www.zanna.us. www.zanna.us. Any of my songs, more than 100 songs I wrote and published and produced on Amazon, 99 cents, and you can support the show and keeping it free. Thank you very much. I hope to talk to you next Sunday. Do not go away. Ciao.